Rally Towel fam, good evening. Welcome to the show. Week 9 NFL Pick'em brought to you by Rally Towel Sports. Corey doing something.
What?
It's just sniffing a permanent marker. Anyway,
Nah.
welcome to the show, chat. Obviously, lots to talk about this week. Trade deadline. We had Coach fired. Lots of upsets last week. Some interesting things that we'll dive into here in a little bit. We got the whole crew on tonight, so it should be a great show. If you're checking us out on Apple Music or Spotify after the fact, make sure you drop by one of the lives if you can. We're live every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
Good, man. I hated seeing snow on the ground today, but other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Yesterday, it snowed.
Yeah,
I was
pretty crazy.
devastated. I was like, it can't be that early.
I'm just telling myself the faster winter gets here, the faster summer will get here. Right?
Yeah, but okay. I get it.
All right, is the real question, is anybody turned their heat on yet?
Oh, yeah, it's been on, man. I live in Michigan.
If you met
Okay.
my wife, you would know that thing's been cooking.
What was the temperature inside the house where you're like, all right, I got to turn the heat on now?
Well, here's the thing. Heat set
60.
to like our heat set to like 66.
That's
it's-
fair.
It's
6.
yeah, she's a freeze baby, dude.
We roll ours at 69.
Oh, giggity.
Dude.
Yeah, pretty cool. We're a pretty progressive household.
We're rocking at 60 right now in the house, and I debated it this morning when I woke up, and it was like an Arctic tundra in my bedroom.
Always put on more layers. Look at me. I got a hat on.
Yeah,
That's
well, when you wake up and it's like 19 degrees outside,
Sure.
it's time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It almost got there this morning in Columbus. It was like 22 degrees this morning in Columbus, and I really did. I had to think about it for a good 10 minutes. Like, should I just bite the bullet? But I'm waiting until it's sub 60 in the house before I turn the heat on.
Nothing like that first time you turn the furnace on
that
and you just
stank.
That smell.
get that
stank.
burning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
That-
good.
We've been rocking.
That is
the
a smell you
fireplace,
never
which is
forget.
great. Yeah, we're also right now currently babysitting like a 13-year-old 8-pound dog. So
Yeah, you got to keep that thing warm.
I don't want him to die on our watch.
Sure,
call.
sure.
Good call.
Yeah, no, that's responsible pet watching. So,
Cat's twice as big. So
all right, well, let's dive into last week. We had two people that had excellent weeks last week, at least on the panel. Corey, Todd, 12-4 last week, gentlemen. Well done, Todd.
Good work.
You needed a good week.
There you go, baby.
Let's go back.
Unfortunately, you didn't really make up any ground on Corey or Aaron because they both had solid weeks. Aaron was at 11-5. I came in at 9-7 last week. Tough week for me.
It's 3 in for me.
As
I
far
think I
as
went
the
4
chat's
and 9 the week
concerned,
prior, so we needed it.
Yeah.
that is accurate. 4-9 the previous week. As far as the chat's concerned, Josh and Pops were tied at 12-4 last week. So good job to you guys.
Good
And
weeks.
then Tez came in at 11-5. So
And
everybody
I think
did well last week except for me. So,
yeah, well, one of them is like nobody picked the Broncos.
I had a couple
kind
hot-
of deal.
hot
You know what I
weeks
mean?
in a
Like
row,
there
so.
were a couple out there where it was
yeah,
like
the Chiefs, obviously, tough game to watch.
Oh no.
Falcons
remember-
taking the L to Will Levis. Like Will Levis just came in and
Boy,
shocked everybody.
what the fuck was
and the
that?
Panthers got their first win. I don't.
They
I'm
did.
assuming
Panthers
that-
got their
There's-
first win.
There's no more teams in the NFL with a 0 in the win column. It's officially done. It took 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a lot of, as Corey likes to put it, parity in the last couple of weeks in the NFL. So that's kind of what it is.
I mean, you look
So,
across the AFC right now, and that's what you're getting. Like the AFC is
Tight.
insane. Like
it is
Yeah.
we
tight.
knew it was going to be like competitive, and there were going to be a lot of good teams. But there's just also a lot of people sitting at or just above 500. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's not really anybody in the AFC that's just like running away with it right now.
And isn't that a little surprising that we kind of had a fairly light trade deadline with that being considered? I feel like there's some teams that
There were moves made, but not like anything.
nothing that was
anybody.
like there wasn't really a. I mean, obviously Chase Young is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, Chase
Wow.
Young, Montez Sweater, like 1A.
Yeah, but the Montez Sweat one has nothing to do with the playoffs.
All NFC. all NFC as well.
That's
NFC to
that's
NFC of
what
both
I
of
was
those
gonna say,
trades.
too.
Right,
Or
exactly.
or AFC to NFC for
The
any
AFC,
big
I feel
trade,
like
yeah.
there was a lot of teams that had the opportunity to really, plant their flag and say we're going for it this year, and maybe those just moves weren't out there. And
I think a lot of the teams that are in like, yeah, right, Aaron, your point, like it takes two to tango, it takes two
Yeah.
to trade, like
well,
for
not the way I
sure,
do it.
right? And God, I wish I could just better just continue to roll that one. But I think also like a lot of the teams are confident with who they have there right now. Like I think like when you look at the AFC, looking at contenders, obviously the Jaguars, obviously the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bengals now I think are back in that conversation. The Bills put in and got a running back, I believe, right before the deadline.
Did
Was it
they?
They
from
got
the
a
Steelers?
cornerback. They got a cornerback from the Packers.
Corner. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Corner. So yeah, they got a D back. Which they needed for Kier Elam, who is probably one of the biggest busts in the last couple of seasons. Sucks to say it as he is a Gator, but it's true. So they were the only ones that made a move out of that. Like, the Chiefs sat on their hands. Not surprising. That's what the Chiefs do. The Bengals, same deal. The Ravens, a little surprising in that one. The Jaguars, they didn't do anything. They're not notorious for being big trade deadline people. But I think the trade deadline in general in the NFL is a little bit like last year we had some crazy shit go down. But this year, like it was more normal, I guess, is what I would say. I think last year was kind of a little inflated as to what to expect at the deadline.
I would contend that point as well. Without it, like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, well, when you get a marquee player like Christian McCaffrey moving at the deadline, you're capping the ceiling's so high at that point. And I think really, I thought Baltimore would make a running back move. I thought Buffalo also might make a running back move. That was the big rumor mill. I guess Buffalo technically did because they signed Leonard Fournette. I don't know if that really counts for anything.
Big running back move.
Wait, Fournette's? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's on the Bills practice squad.
Practice squad.
But I was really surprised that Baltimore didn't try to chase down a trade deadline running back. I had from what I read on Twitter that they were asking about Josh Jacobs, and the Raiders just like shut everything down at 1:00 yesterday.
I mean, guys, at the end of the day, like draft picks are very valuable unless you can get a deal done. And if you look at a lot of these deals outside of the marquee guys, like a Sweat or a Young, which I don't even really consider Chase Young a marquee guy anymore. Sweat, yes, I'm there on him. I like the value there, but I don't get the. Let me back that up by saying I don't get why the Bears were the team that did that.
I kind of do, but it's shades of like what they did with Claypool last year, where you're like, what do you do?
Just weird.
Your second pick is worth so much.
It is exactly.
It was an identical trade. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Well, except they traded for somebody who's actually good this time.
But that's what I'm getting at. It's like these teams that we're talking about that are in contention. Just looking at the AFC right now, because it is such a close knit, like we don't really know who the best team in the AFC is right now. I think there's teams that are playing really hot and there's teams that are proven, and we're kind of up in the air in that regard. So I think when we look at those particular teams, when you look at the Chiefs, when you look at the Jags, when you look at the Ravens, when you look at the Bengals, and even the Bills, but I don't know if we consider them right now just based on the fact that they made two moves. But I just don't. I feel like they feel pretty confident in their ability to draft, and thus a draft pick is much more valuable to them than any kind of trade that they could make. As a Bengals fan, I wanted them to potentially like kick the tires on like a Mike Gesicki from New England. You could probably gotten him for like a 4th or a 5th rounder, or
Hunter Henry,
or Hunter Henry, or just something like that to add some value to that tight end room, or looking around and just seeing what a running back is going for, like an AJ Dillon or something like that. Like I thought that would have been pretty cool to kind of just add some value to the two weakest areas, which in terms of depth, running back, in terms of performance, is tight end for the Bengals. But nothing came of it. I'm not super mad about it. I didn't expect them to do anything. They just don't ever at the deadline. So
yeah, it's not like the NBA trade deadline though either.
No,
right?
So it's not that surprising. You're right. I think last year was just a little bit hotter of a deadline. Forgive me. We're
Yeah,
also watching a cat. If you're hearing that,
I think the
That's not
NBA
Squeaks.
outshine the NFL at the trade deadline, right? I mean,
Always.
the James Harden trade capped off anything that happened really in the NFL on Tuesday, because you woke up Monday, you woke up Tuesday morning, you're like, oh shit, James Harden's on the Clippers now. And
But also, who gives? I don't like James Harden.
So over James Harden
does nothing to make it move for me at all. Like, it's just
no.
I hate him. I hate him.
I mean, that just sealed the deal. Like, the Clippers will not win the championship this year.
they weren't gonna anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if they had any aspirations, adding Harden took them in the wrong direction. So,
I guess
I don't think he provides much value.
Yeah, I don't think they're
he's
worse.
He's
though,
a great
right?
scorer. They're not worse, but they're not better. So
they really didn't give up a ton either.
They didn't at all
for the Clippers.
Yeah, it was like a second-round pick, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they also gave up 4 expiring contracts.
That's good then, right?
Yeah.
For the Clippers?
Yeah, right?
No, because that's now money that's against your like you were going to have cap money freeing up. So for the Sixers, that's a great way, to now get in a position where next year you can make like a Dame Lillard type trade.
Got you.
Because you are going to have the cap room to sign somebody or absorb a contract.
See, this is why we need you, Aaron, because you have that insight to the business.
I have a weird cap now. Like I don't understand it.
Tez is in the ER.
Yeah, Tez, hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can always message me after the fact.
Also, not important.
But yeah, I mean, it's not.
Thanks for stopping in. Hope you're okay.
Yeah, man. Must be a heck of a waiting room. If you've ever been in the waiting room of the ER, you could do a lot worse than watch us. So
yeah,
dude, so true.
Especially if George Clooney's not there anymore.
Well, I mean, let's face it.
Dreamboat.
That fucking Caesar haircut. Meow.
All right, boys, let's get into it here. So going into week 9, Corey still has the lead outright. He is sitting at 80-42. Aaron is in second at 78-44. I am in third at 75-47. Todd is crawling back in still at 72-50. So, all right, let's start with a banger of a matchup tomorrow night. Hold on a second. Just 1 second, guys.
Massive fake tits. Nice.
Fucking cat just consistently just screaming.
I don't know what to do. He keeps jumping
right.
up, and I'm like, just jump on my lap and I can pet you.
Is there
like,
no, never mind. I was going to say something that
there's a joke in there somewhere.
I was just going to say something that would have you ever seen the what's that documentary on Netflix? Something about cats.
Oh yeah.
Don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats. I didn't want to piss those people off. So I
wouldn't.
That's Canada in a nutshell. Nice on the outside, killer on the inside.
Yeah, I just stopped.
Okay.
Pretty smart move.
Nice.
Getting some shout outs to people liking the stream right now. Kendra Miller, Josh Lavin. Thanks for liking the stream. We love you guys.
Yeah, if you haven't already, share it. We're also on Apple Music, Spotify, Podbean, all your podcast locations. So go check us out there if you ever miss a show. All right, first matchup on the slate tomorrow night. We've got the Will Levis, new look Tennessee Titans, taking on the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
I feel like I got to insert the the Shaquille O'Neal meme. Where I'm sorry, I just wasn't familiar with your game. Like, I owe you an apology.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about it, man. Will Levis, impressive last week, 4 tutties. 3 of which went to DeAndre Hopkins. So
smart.
Todd is so ready to stat bomb us right now on his boy. He's so ready to stat bomb us.
Let it rip, Todd.
No, I if you look at what Will Levis did in college, it translated pretty well into what he did in Sunday, right? Like where Kentucky ate when they won big games, and I'm not trying to dog on you, Cordy, but in that Florida game last year where they won early in the season, that was a staple game for them.
Sure.
Will Levis completed 9 passes, 15 yards, and 15 yards or greater in that game. So that was kind of the moneymaker for him at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he just did that in Tennessee. And we talked about it with Tyson Badgett on and his debut. Will Levis just took the most sure-handed guy on the field and threw him the ball.
Yeah, he's pretty good at football, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. Just do that.
Yeah.
If you're a rookie quarterback and you're like, oh shit, who should I throw the ball to? Throw it to the guy that has the best hands on the field.
Statistically, the largest hands in football.
Yeah, what does he
well.
have, like 5X gloves? Something
It's
ridiculous.
stupid. It's something stupid like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he ate in college on being a big, like the plus 15-yard pass completer, and it's a shocking debut.
Is that a full black? Is that a full black cat? Is that cat all black? Your cat unplugged your mic. Absolutely. Or you're muted.
Oh no, I muted myself
Okay.
because this cat, we have had the dog and cat at our house since Saturday night. The cat has not left the basement, so I'm kind of like on his territory right now. And he's just not having it, and I'm like, I fucking live here. You know, I pay the bills.
You gotta tell him.
Oh, he don't care.
No,
Is it a full black cat?
No, it's black and white, but it's named Ghoul. So
Spooky season.
Spooky, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Todd, did you make a pick?
Nope.
Oh, I'm supposed to
Or
make
you just dropping stats?
Oops.
Yeah, just talking about Will Levis.
Oops. Sorry. Look, Kenny Pickett's practiced the last 2 days, but still pretty banged up. We saw what Mitch Trubisky did in Matt Canada's offense when he had to come into the last few minutes of that game. I'm taking the Titans here, fellas. This is a 50-50 split game for me. I didn't really know who I was going to pick until we sat down about 10 minutes ago, but I'm gonna roll with the Titans here. No specific reason.
Did you say me?
I did.
I'm sorry. You were both speaking. I didn't hear. Is Kenny Pickett playing?
Yeah,
he is scheduled to play.
Okay. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm not going to allow myself to be that easily convinced in what I thought I knew about Will Levis. I'm not going to allow myself to do that. First road game in the NFL, prime time, going into Pittsburgh. There's got to be something to be said about that, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with my gut here on a short week and take the Steelers at home, and also the under.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Yeah, Pittsburgh with the 29th run defense in the NFL going against Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, there's just so we've talked about the Steelers defense ad nauseum at this point on this podcast, and I think I'm convinced that what the theory is. The offense is hurting the defense at this point. Like I honestly believe that the offense is hurting the defense, and the fact that they can't stay on the field, or rather, the defense is on the field for the entirety of the fucking game. It seems like
it kills them.
It kills them.
Brutal.
It absolutely kills them.
They'd be a top 10 defense if they could just have an offense that moved the football.
I'm worried about. I mean, it's nice to be at home for your first start. And who did the Titans play?
The Falcons.
Good defense, statistically a good defense this season. Not a great offense. So I don't know. I feel as though there's probably a few more playmakers on the defensive line for the Steelers than there are for the Falcons. So take the home team on a short week.
Yeah, I honestly gave this game some thought, and Will Levis looked good, but he's going to be facing a top 3 defender, in the NFL this week, and he's going to be coming at him and getting in his face. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Will Levis. It's going to be interesting to see how he responds. I think this could be a statement game for him if he comes out and plays well, and continues to do what he did last week. But I think he's going to have a little bit more challenges getting, obviously he had quite a bit of time last week to throw, watching that game. He was pressured, but not a ton. He did roll out. He made some nice touch passes. But I'm taking the Steelers at home in this one. Steelers did get hosed towards the end of that game, but it wasn't the complete entirety of the game. I don't know how you call offsides on the offensive line. I've never seen that in my life, but it is what it is.
If you line up offsides, that would be how that would happen.
Put your hand down.
Have you ever seen it called?
It was head over.
I've seen it called.
It was head over the snappers of the ball of the snapper on a field goal, right? So it took it from like a 51 to a 56-yard field goal, something like that. into the wind.
Yeah, and he missed it. He tried to get into it. And it's the
Yeah,
first
for
field,
talking shit to
first field goal he
Matt
missed
Canada,
all year.
man.
So
It's the same thing I said when there was a bad call at the end of the Browns game. No one's going to feel bad for us after the week prior. So it is what it is. You move on.
I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
much
you get both sides of the
2015
coin.
wild card. Don't care. Don't care.
It-
Don't care.
It is what it is. I'm taking the Steelers this week at home against the Titans, young quarterback. I'm going with the defense over the offense, and hopefully, can we just kind of talk about Matt Canada for a second? Like, how does this man still have a job?
He's got some blackmail on something, or he's just best hand jobs in the game. I don't know.
I don't get it. Like you guys are not Steelers fans, and you still agree that this man should not have a job.
I think Tomlin's fairly traditional, though, and I don't think he believes in shaking things up in the middle of the season. I think when he goes into the season, that's kind of the choice that he makes. I mean, can you, off the top of your head, Bobby, give me an example of when he's made a coaching change mid-season?
No, I can't remember anything happening mid-season.
It just doesn't seem like something he would do.
Remember how shocked everybody was when he put Pickett in the second half of the game against the Bills last year? Took over for Trubisky. Everybody's like, "Whoa, shit! Tomlin doesn't ever do that." So
right.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
What a
logic,
renegade
but,
Steelers joke.
You know, his big thing is the standard is the standard, and so you're just gonna put up with a shitty standard of terrible offense.
What does that even mean?
If that is the standard, yes.
Right. You know what I mean? Like that's his big saying. I guess the standard means it's like it's up here, like the standard's high. Like, and you have
The roof
to meet
is
that
the
standard.
ceiling.
The roof is the ceiling, right?
Whoa.
So no idea what that means, but that's hilarious. Aaron, need your pick.
I honestly was thinking somebody was going to talk me. I'm still on the fence here, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Steelers here, looking at the Titans 0-3 on the road this year. Hey, hats off to Will Levis, what he did last week again. You know, I owe that man an apology because I didn't really think much of him. But at the same time, there are some things in that game, while fantastic. You know, everyone keeps talking about, obviously throw it to DeAndre Hopkins. That's great when it works. That's also the sign of somebody who isn't really processing very well from a young. It's like, oh shit, I'm going to just throw it to the best guy, which is great. Like, don't get me wrong. Like in high school, college, that's going to work. Pros is a little bit different. Plus, your worst receiver should still be someone who's pretty good in the NFL. So I think I'm not saying that that's necessarily a problem, but I want to see if that's something I'm going to be looking out for on Thursday. How much is this guy, looking at his first read and not processing the rest of the field? But hey, hats off to him. It was weird that they started the Willis combo. That also very confusing for me. Or Will Levis, and then you have Willis. Like my brain doesn't let it happen. I hate it. I just fucked it up. So I don't ever understand trying to do that. So at least Levis showed you like, let's stop that. Let's, go with a one quarterback approach here and ride this guy. But I'm going to take the Steelers.
Absolutely. Earl coming in with the 50 stars in a comment. Percentage odds that Ravens lose, Steelers lose, and the Bengals win this week. I don't know. I would
We'll get to the Steelers game here in a little bit. Then what you can do is you can derive as to what our picks are. So a 75% chance that the Steelers win based on us right now. Just you can do the math.
You can also just plug it in a parlay and see what comes out.
Yeah.
There
you go.
we could do that if somebody wants to hop on
I'll do it
app. Well, let's move on. We've got the first game in Germany this year.
First game in Germany ever.
Oh, is it ever? I did.
Yeah, for the NFL.
Okay. Yeah, so this is gonna be an interesting
not for
one,
NFL
man.
Europe though.
No, they've never played a game ever in Germany. They are very serious, the Germans. Very serious.
Oh,
Okay.
Was that German?
Is
I
it
guess
not?
so. Yeah. Well, you just really offended Todd, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm out of here.
I dropped out. I got so upset at Corey making such slander towards my heritage with his
You're an American. Let it go.
Hitler-esque.
If you want the odds of Titans winning, Seahawks winning, Bengals winning, so essentially what we're talking about, plus 1132.
There you go.
So not good.
Hey, it'll pay out if it hits though.
All
right, we got the Dolphins taking on the Chiefs over in Germany. Chiefs coming off a very, very, very bad loss last week to the
Yeah.
Broncos.
It's me.
Dolphins obviously did what
Hi,
they needed to do last
the
week
problem
against
is
the
me.
Patriots. Tyreek Hill, what he said, he's like on a crazy pace right now. He's got
He's
over
over 1,000
1,000
yards already.
yards receiving through the first 8 weeks of the season,
Stupid.
which is the best start in NFL history through 8 weeks. So
He's got a
He's
chance, legitimate chance, in my opinion, to win MVP.
I agree. I agree. Him
Yeah,
or AJ Brown, actually. AJ Brown needs to be in that conversation as well.
Yeah,
how many
he's-
receiving
he's-
yards did AJ Brown have last week? Did
He
he
has
hit
like-
125?
Yeah, well, he's at like 9 something. I think he's like 918 total or something. Like
Yeah, I
that.
think it's like 6 straight games over $120 or something stupid
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's like
That's
one touchdown at
crazy.
$125, I think.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is
And,
gonna be a
I
tough.
believe on this show we said, "Oh, AJ Brown could have a regress year, and look for Devonta Smith to be more, the focal point of that offense." At least I know I was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good," and kind of chiming in on that comment. So AJ Brown, man, making he's worth it. He is worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Aaron, I'll let you lead this one off. Dolphins taking on the Chiefs in Germany. Who you got?
Yeah, this is also a tough one for me, and it's that exact reason is because we're playing overseas. Weird stuff always happens in
Sure.
the London games. What happens in Germany? I don't know.
Stays there.
So I probably would have
Las
taken the
Vegas.
Dolphins in this game just because the Chiefs are the team that always end up playing down to whoever their opponent is, and I feel like that can only be magnified in a game that is, overseas like that. But I also don't think of either of these teams as like big like London team guys. Again, I know it's in Germany, but like
Mm.
they don't really send Pat Mahomes across the pond. So I almost think it's going to be just such a big spectacle event. Obviously, everything going on with Travis Kelce as well. It's just going to be all eyes on that. I'm going to take the Chiefs solely because they had such a stinker last week to the Broncos, and I think they kind of cleaned that up a little bit.
Todd.
Did you guys know that Pat Mahomes is averaging an interception a game? That's a weird thing. That's a weird sentence, right? I don't think that sentence has
Awesome.
been said for the last 4
That's crazy.
years.
Best quarterback.
Yeah.
in the league. Next time, Brady.
15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions for Pat Mahomes on the year. Bruce's comments interesting. Just taking the Dolphins because they left for Germany earlier. That's an interesting
Hey,
perspective
whatever
on this,
works,
'cause,
man.
well, look what happened to Buffalo. Jacksonville was there for 2 weeks.
Dolphins.
Getting there early. That's on my note. British. You're right on cue. Beautifully.
Or I
done.
have to tell you, use the wrong version of there.
I did. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy,
If Todd has a pet peeve, it's that one.
I might have to drop out.
Don't know where it happened, but it happened, and I'll own it. I'll own my mistakes, unlike Josh McDaniels.
We'll get there.
Deflect.
I'm going to take the Chiefs too because ooh. Cool
Yeah,
jump.
the production value here is lit.
I think you come off with such a dog shit week that they're gonna come out. I think they just come out super hot and grab a couple scores and a turnover early on the Dolphins, and they got to try to make their way back in. So I'm taking the Chiefs here.
All righty, Corey.
Yeah, taking the Dolphins. Dolphins are getting there much earlier than are the Chiefs, which we saw fucked up the Bills going overseas, right? They're only having one practice in Germany are the Chiefs. I think they're having a practice on Friday. That's it. So I think they're arriving Thursday, having a practice Friday. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of opportunity for them to really have a meaningful practice, at least. So I'm taking the under, and I'm taking the Dolphins.
Is Taylor
50 and a
Swift going to
half.
be in attendance?
Yeah, 50.5 seems like a lot. I don't believe she is. I think she's on a world tour.
Well, I'm pretty sure Germany is part of the world.
And so is the United States. She wasn't there last week. Big place, Aaron. Big place.
Big place.
It is a big place. Yeah, I mean,
It's no Jupiter, but
I don't know. The Chiefs just haven't really looked great this year, and the Dolphins, we
Dolphins haven't
talked
beaten
about-
anybody, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked about this last week and the week prior. They
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear
haven't
you
really
on this
played
one,
a
Corey.
ton of good teams.
It's solely based on when they're arriving. It's solely based
So-
on that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with the Bills when they took on Jacksonville, and they came out slow and looked like shit, and they got beat by the Jags, which kicked off their win streak, and they haven't lost a game since. So this is a tough game. It could go either way. I think Tyreek Hill has a message for Kansas City this week. Yeah, I think he's going to want to continue his dominance and stick it to his former team. So I'm also going to ride the train for the Dolphins this week.
The one thing I'll say about this game, though, this might be the best 9:30 game we've ever had.
Yeah,
tight.
It's going to be a great
It's
game.
always like the worst matchup or something. Like, what was it, the earlier ones? It was like Ravens Titans. I'm like, I mean, like, there's nothing else on. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna watch it.
Am I correct in Kate McKinnon does a German character on SNL? Am I correct in that?
I'm not
Just
sure.
So I want her to call this game. It would just be so much fun.
I feel like she probably did.
That would
Or
be great.
Bruno. Can we get Bruno in there a little bit?
Very nice. Oh no, that's
Borat.
Borat. Sorry.
Come on.
I gotta mix it up.
Brutal.
Anyways, Vikings. Moving on to the next game. Vikings. Obviously, tough week for them last week, losing Kirk Cousins. Yeah, those Achilles injuries. I mean, as soon as you see him on film, they're just you know instantly that his season was over. And I think there's a lot coming out just showing how good of a dude he is. But Vikings are taking on the Falcons on the road. I think it's our first 1 o'clock game. No primetime Cousins. Vikings signed Josh Dobbs. I do not believe he's going to be getting the start, though. I think they have a rookie that's going to be stepping in and taking the helm, at least for this week. Dobbs will be backing up. I will start with Corey. Vikings on the road. Atlanta, who you got?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for this offense to move, I think, especially on the road. You're going to have that defense that's been playing well relatively. Obviously, last week gave up a lot of big plays to the rookie and D-Hop, but I look for Atlanta to bounce back this week. It's hard for me to bet on a rookie quarterback going on the road on a week when he's, shortly prepared. So going with the Dirty Birds.
The Dirty Birds. Todd.
Yeah, I think we got a Taylor Heineke, Jaron Hall matchup this week, fellas. That's what it's looking like. I believe Arthur Smith did announce Taylor Heineke's going to start. I certainly hope that this is the next step for Atlanta is to start using their 5th overall pick as like a full-time running back and not splitting carries with Tyler Algier. And I don't know, maybe Heineke will throw the ball to Kyle Pitts more than 3 times a game. Like I just think that this is I think Corey and I both were really high on the Desmond Ridder train, and that thing derailed pretty quickly by about week 5. And it is disappointing because I thought that he had the mix to be able to do it, and then you just watch him in games and it just doesn't seem like he's hit the next stride. And I think Taylor Heineke's the
insert the Shaq meme ironically.
Yeah. I think Heineke's Heineke will help Atlanta, especially with how tight the NFC South is, too.
Yeah.
Moving in direction for them.
Todd's got the Falcons. Aaron, who do you have?
Yeah, I mean, Todd, you kind of took some of the points I was going to make there. I actually think Heineke is going to do great in this offense. I mean, the guys are actually going to get the ball. It's going to be fantastic. Heineke is by no means, a super, starting level quarterback in this league, but he is like the perfect kind of backup. I think you're going to see some life in this Falcons team. And of course, going against this, this Vikings team with a rookie quarterback. And, unfortunately they kind of caught a little bit of life there, or it was like, oh, hey, maybe they're starting to turn something on.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate what happened to Kirk. I think he was somebody if you were doing NFL players as a stock, his was somebody's who was just way up this year from like a fan likability standpoint. Obviously the quarterback series on Netflix, everyone kind of, really liked him. And I think a lot of people are, finally starting to respect exactly kind of who he was as a quarterback. He's, by no means, a top 10 guy, but he is, a consistent guy who comes to work every day, puts the lunch pail down and goes to work. And I think there's something to be said about that. So, I know he gets a lot of crap, primetime Kirk, but prayers up, speedy recovery to him, because that's, unfortunately in a contract year, not something you want to see for a guy like that. But with that being said, I mean, man, the Vikings, if I told you at the beginning of the year Cam Akers was going to score the first rushing touchdown for the Vikings this year, you go, what?
Right.
It just doesn't seem to be going well there, of course. And again, I kind of like the idea of Heineke being able to spread that ball around to legitimate, talented, skilled weapon guys that, Desmond.
He's feisty, man.
Yeah, he is. He's a player. I'd love to have him right now.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, I was just like landing spots for Kirk next year.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it all depends on that Achilles, right?
I mean, he'll be back by next year.
I don't think he's going to be on whatever this Aaron Rodgers trajectory is.
No, not. Yeah.
Yeah. He
None
won't
of
play
Christ.
this season.
What?
Raiders?
Maybe.
You just park him for 10 weeks and then or 9 weeks and let him come back out.
Honestly, Broncos.
Really? You think they're moving on from Russ?
I mean, I don't think Sean Payton likes Russell Wilson.
I don't think their offense is the problem, though. I don't think that's really the issue right now.
No, it probably won't. It probably won't be that. I'm like trying to think of teams that actually, heck, you could make the argument that Atlanta makes a ton of sense.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, put him back into like the Matt Ryan role. See that?
Yeah.
There's a story going around about Mike Shanahan's love for Kirk Cousins, and
you just mean Mike Shanahan's love for mediocre white quarterbacks?
yeah,
loves them.
Oh man. All right. I think I'm the only one that's not picked yet. I'm taking the Falcons this week. Do need to say something about Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison has had a great couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I think he's finally starting to come into his own a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see what he can get done with a rookie quarterback at the helm. Maybe if this doesn't work out and Dobbs comes in next week, you might see a bounce back if he has a bad week this week. All in all, I think Jordan Addison has the tools and skills to be great in this league. I think he's showcased that over the last 2 weeks. So excited to see what he's going to do. But yeah, I've got the Falcons. They're just, as a collective, playing better football. And without Kirk Cousins, I just don't have much faith in the Vikings to put a lot of points on the board.
Yeah, if the Vikings can get one of these rookie quarterbacks with that receiving core, that could be
really
Michael
nasty.
Penix Jr. I'm thinking of Michael Penix Jr. in Minnesota.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
He looks good in purple.
It fits. Yeah. Never has to change colors.
No, not at all.
I mean, he came from Indiana too, but
He did.
which RIP.
he quite literally changed colors.
Yes. Yeah. We lost a legend today, chat. Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Passed
Bobby
away,
Knight.
83 years old. Man.
Throw a chair.
Yeah. Throw a chair in his honor, please. Obviously safely. Not at anybody.
That dude had no fucking disregard when he throw that chair through the window.
Well, no, that cost me money. I'd rather throw it at somebody.
Yeah, throw it through somebody else's window.
That can still cost
Never
you money.
knows you.
That. Was that
All right. Next game, we've got the Chicago Bears headed down to New Orleans to take on the Saints.
Yes.
I was gonna say Aaron and then Todd, and then it came out a tie. We'll start with Todd.
It's a tie.
It's a tie. Todd, Bears on the road, New Orleans. Who you got?
No Justin Fields again, right? Is that where we currently land?
I believe that's correct.
Okay, taking the Saints. That's it.
If Justin Fields was playing, are you still taking the Saints?
Yeah. I didn't know if I had to add any value to my pick, and I don't feel it's necessary now. I mean, you're not going to see Montez Sweat on Sunday, so there's not any more pressure getting to Derek Carr, right? And I think we kind of saw what Chicago's offense is against the Chargers. It really stalled out, and it's a good Saints defense. And New Orleans put up like 38 points last week, and they've done it a couple other times. So Derek Carr clearly has a little bit of that diesel left in the tank. So I can see this being a quick and easy blowout for New Orleans.
Because he's a car.
Aaron,
You got it. That's it. The dad joke landed. I'm proud of that.
I like that. I mean, his name's not
Well done.
It's not Derek Truck. I'm just saying.
Nah.
So All right. Anyways, yeah, I mean the Saints defense is one of the best in the league. I actually think Carr has played more than fine this year. I know there was, the game with, him yelling at Olave and everything like that. They're fine. They're a team that's going to win just enough games to sneak into the playoffs and probably lose in the first round. But the Bears are just not a good team. And still to me is perplexing that, they're willing to give up a second round pick again. That's going to be a top, pick. I understand that the Bears have the best cap space going into next year. They're using it now as opposed to, but have we seen Sweat sign a deal?
No, he's still on a rookie contract.
So here's the thing. When they made the trade, I was immediately like, all right, well, they obviously had before the trade come to terms on a deal. That's fine. I get it. I'm even more, I still was a little perplexed with it just because of where they're at. So I don't know, man. Like, what if he just walks and you, for what? Like, you didn't need him for this year. You gave up a second round pick. Yeah. Like a third rounder.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it gives you the opportunity to sign him, but I don't really get what's going on in Chicago. So yeah, I mean, New Orleans here is just the better team. Bajan's fine. We'll see. I think, he had a good week 1. He had a bad week 2. Let's see if he falls in the middle this week. I don't know. But yeah, the Saints are just the better team.
Right. Corey.
Want to give a quick shout out to British and Carl for liking the stream. We appreciate you guys. If you're watching right now, like it, share it. Easiest way to support us. We love you all in the Rally Tau Sports family. Yeah, this is an easy one for me. I'm taking the Saints. Saints at home, better defense. Don't trust the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yeah, I agree. Saints. I did see a very interesting comparison this week, which I'm sure you guys have seen. The comparison of Alvin Kamara to Christian McCaffrey.
The stats are eerily similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Go on.
Since they've come into the league, they have the same amount of touches, essentially the same amount of rushing and receiving yards.
Did they come in the same time?
They did. They got drafted the same year.
2017.
Interesting.
So I don't have the exact stats pulled up, but essentially like production across the board, they are.
All you got to do is pull up one of them.
Yeah.
No, they are like eerily similar.
but they are extremely close.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But if you were to blindly give somebody the stats and say which one is which, you wouldn't be able to place it.
Let me ask you this, guys. As a team, are we comfortable with the Saints as the division winner at plus 110?
Yes.
No.
Falcons plus 105 are the odds-on favorite right now.
Falcons are the odds-on. Where are the Bucks at?
The Buccaneers are at plus 600.
Wow.
I would rather place money on the Bucks, who are they're 2-1 away. I thought that was saying division. I guess. They have the best defense in that division. Is Carr the best quarterback?
It's close, though. The Saints and Falcons defense are both playing well.
Yeah,
that's true.
Is Carr the best quarterback in the division? Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much question.
100. I don't think there's skills. Oh, I'm out. Am I back?
You're back.
You're back.
All right, sweet. I don't think there's a whole lot separating their skills positions either.
No, you're right.
Bijan's fantastic, obviously. Kamara is Kamara. Like, you have Olave. Michael Thomas showed us who the fuck he was last week with that amazing catch. Obviously, Drake London is really good, and Kyle Pitts is really good. And then, obviously, you have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Scotty Miller, the Bowling Green State University.
Let's go. I think the difference, Corey, is the willingness to get the skill positions the ball,
Or ability, right?
I think that's going to change in Atlanta now.
I don't hate your argument. I'm just saying
I just hate you as a
quarterback play. Yeah.
Your argument's fine.
Your argument's fine. It's just you, morally, ethically, who you are. Moral fiber. No, I think, I don't know. I wish the juice was like a 220, like a plus 220.
It's just not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
It's not there. Come on. What are we talking about here?
All right, well, maybe it'll be worth a squeeze in this next one. I'm not even sure what the line is. We've got the Rams taking things on the road up to Lambeau, take on the Packers.
Corey.
You got
Yeah. We got Matt Stafford with a UCL injury in the thumb right now. Dude, this guy, if he can play, he will. Are we seeing like the last hurrah of Matt Stafford at this point?
Could that be a Kirk destination?
Absolutely. I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yep.
I don't think Matt Stafford has anything left to prove. Like at this point, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, in my opinion.
Yep.
He's a Super Bowl champion. He's one of the best of the era.
one of the toughest quarterbacks to play.
Just fucking tough as nails. Just an absolute unit. Who are they playing again?
They're playing the Packers.
Packers, Rams. Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams. Even if he's not there, give me the Rams. Jordan Love sucks, guys. The Packers suck. I was right about Jordan Love. I'm convinced I'm right about Jordan Love. They're not good. They're not a good football team, and he's not a good quarterback. I'm okay with it, with putting the nuts on the table for that one.
Yeah.
Interesting phase, Corey.
I was kind of, I definitely was later to the party just because I was holding out,
Which is
one
fine.
or two losses for a guy who I haven't really seen play that many games. I'm like, I'm just not willing to do it. I think I'm sitting down at the table. I'm at least hovering around, seeing what's for dinner.
Just picking up the fucking cheese and the crackers.
Yeah. I'm not sitting down at the table, but I'm eating the food and I'm standing around.
You're walking around the hors d'oeuvres without a plate, and
I just got the napkin plate.
The hostess is looking at you like, is this motherfucker gonna get a plate? No, I'm not, but I am going to enjoy these hanky pankies.
I'm sorry, don't put toothpicks next to the cheese if you want me to get a plate.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
True. God,
so I could easily see the Packers winning this game, though, just because it's the NFL, and you can't just look at the schedule and go favorite win. And with Stafford being as injured as he is, part of me really wants to take the Packers. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Packers here, guys, for no other reason than it's the NFL and weird things happen. And, oh my God, the Packers are actually favored in this game.
Yeah.
-3. So I was like, oh, I'm being crazy. No, I'm just saying what Vegas thinks is going to happen. So
I'm not going to take the favorite in this game. I'm taking the Rams.
I still would argue
be different.
Like if you look at, I can't make that argument and then I'm taking the Rams, guys. I'm taking the Rams.
What?
I'm taking
what just happened?
All right, John Kerry over here. Flip flopper.
Very topical reference, Corey. We appreciate
our
it.
first
2004
flip flop of the 2023 season.
Guaranteed to lose. I just sabotaged everyone out of a win.
Let's go.
Right, I guess we need to flip flop and take the Packers, boys.
What are you doing, Bobby?
Todd.
I'm taking the Packers because you guys all took the Rams. I think this is
let's go.
This is a game that I can get back on you guys. I really do believe that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, this is purely a strategy play for me. I was going to take the Rams, and
love it.
And
now I'm back to confident.
I'll hedge my bets on the three of you being wrong. I'm okay with that.
Fair enough. All right, let's see if you're going to hedge your bets on this one. We've got the Washington Commanders headed to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. Hey, Aaron.
Another interesting matchup.
Who you got?
Yeah, this one sucks. I'm gonna go with Washington here. Howell's been playing some spunky ball. I don't know how else to put it. Like, good for him. The fact that they were even in the
2 weeks in a row with a cum joke. I like it.
I'm gonna come. I can't believe they were even in this game with Philadelphia. Like, it absolutely blows my mind.
Tough.
Division game. I know every time they play them tough. Listen, there's not a good team in this game. This is certainly not one that I anticipate watching a lot of. I can't get on board with this New England offense, and that defense could make things tough for sure. But I'll go ahead and take Washington here.
Todd.
I'm gonna take the Commanders. I was trying to look back and see what Sam Howell did against the Bears that week after they played the Eagles, because he's kind of had flip flop week to week. But he threw for almost 400 on the Bears that week after the Eagles game. The Patriots are just kind of in shambles in general, and it just seems like the shit keeps rolling downhill for New England. There's injuries. They just lost another defensive lineman for the season with a torn pec. Like they didn't sell or do anything really at the trade deadline either. I thought that they were somebody who could try to get some capital back for some position skill players that they have, and I think they missed the mark there. So I think that this is just an absolute tank year for New England to try to draft Drake May next year. That's kind of where I currently stand right now. But I'm taking the Commanders.
Interesting. Corey.
Yeah, New England, worst team in the AFC.
That's crazy.
Worst team in the AFC. Doesn't it feel good? Don't you just feel like lightning struck the tip of your penis as I said that? It's a fantastic thing to have said. But good news, Pats fans, your offense is going to improve by next year. Why? Josh McDaniels will be your offensive coordinator next year. We've seen it once. We'll see it twice. He's coming home. He's coming home. Yeah, Josh McDaniels absolutely headed back to New England to be the offensive coordinator under Bill Belichick. Not even a question.
You think Bill O'Brien will get a head coaching job then?
No, I think
they'll fire him.
Yeah, they'll fire him. Absolutely. Look, they've been terrible this year. They've been absolutely dreadful. That being said, even with the release, the fire sale that happened on the defensive line of the Washington Comrags, I am going to take the Commanders in this one because I just do not believe in New England.
Fair enough. So do we think that the trading of, big parts of their defense is going to impact, how they play this week against New England?
It's absolutely going to leave some opportunities, right, for that defensive line and to prove themselves. I don't necessarily think that we were sitting there going, wow, this Commanders defensive front is insane. Like, I don't think at any point we were saying that they're drastically impacting games a whole lot. We saw that defense get absolutely torched by the Chicago Bears. So I don't necessarily think that this team is in a position to where they're that much worse off. In fact, I would say that their franchise is probably in a better position now. And I just look at the weapons that the Commanders have on the offensive side of the ball. At the end of the day, this is an offensive league. Offense wins games, defense wins championships, right? That's what we kind of talk about. And I think that they just have a lot of guys there on that offensive side of the ball, particularly pass catchers, even out of the backfield, to where I don't see that that New England can outscore them at this point. I think that's more of what I'm looking at here.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to take the Commanders for the simple fact that this game is a coin flip, and this is not a game that I feel confident enough taking the Patriots in.
Okay.
So,
3.5 for the Patriots for what it's worth.
Pussy.
3.5 favorite or
minus 3.5 Patriots.
Interesting.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Minus 3.5 for the Patriots.
Some underdogs got to win.
I'm staying away from this line, by the way. Like, I'm not touching it.
Don't bet this.
No, absolutely.
You'd have to have a real.
I'm still taking the Commanders. Still taking the Commanders here. Why do I have this game on twice? All right, we need to delete that line.
Do it.
And this line, because I had two games twice.
You silly goose.
What is wrong with me?
You're silly.
Maybe you did a little copy paste from the week priors. 16 games. There's only like 12 games.
I think I was drunk when I got towards the end of this spreadsheet stuff.
Are you drunk now?
No. God, I got to be up at 4 a.m. So no.
Hey, way to sell it on the stream. Good job.
I'm feeling a little loose.
I'm feeling a little
your boy got turned up last night, so I had a recovery today. Recovery day today.
Feliz Dia de los Muertos, boys, as well. Honor the dead and all that they. Watch some Coco.
Any excuse to drink here on the podcast.
It's just Wednesday.
All right, moving on. We've got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Seattle coming off a good win last week. Ravens obviously coming off a pretty solid win themselves last week against the Cardinals. Obviously not a very impressive team that they faced last week, but it is what it is. We've got the Birds. Battle of the Birds here, boys. Corey, let's lead it off. Who you got?
Oh, talk about my favorite team in the NFL. I don't think it was that impressive of a win for Baltimore out in Arizona, to be honest with you guys. I think they let Arizona back into that game. They've got Odell Crybaby Beckham bitching on the sideline, throwing his helmet and
shit.
City, trash team, trash fan.
Cutting in and out there, Corey, but
Yep.
I think
you get the point. 12-2 are the Seahawks at a 1:00 Eastern Standard Time game. Who are those two losses?
Bengals.
They are the Cincinnati Bengals. Since 2015, the Seahawks are 12-2 at a 1:00 game on the East Coast. And they get it done this Sunday against the Ravens. Seahawks going on the road, upsetting the bitch boys in Baltimore.
All right, Aaron.
No, that's crazy. Just kidding.
I'm crazy.
I'm crazy. So watching the Seahawks last week, of course, against the Browns, they started hot, and then that offense went nowhere. Now, it seemed like the Browns defense finally woke up, and of course that could have part to do with it. Ravens defense is really good. You can. I know what's going on with OBJ isn't great, but guy's not making a difference in my prediction of this game anyway. I think Lamar Jackson is playing adequately enough. He's
really good.
Yeah, he's playing really good. Certainly, I would say worth the contract that he's gotten so far. He's stayed on the field. He's doing Lamar type things. That is a very interesting stat, Corey, because you would think it would be the other way around.
They've turned it around since Pete Carroll, greatest coach in the league, came in.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, pretty solid coach, but this is a battle of two pretty good coaches, to be honest.
Very good coaches, yeah.
I got to go with the Ravens here. I think they're the better team. I also just don't think us as a group are lucky enough for the Ravens to drop this one.
I know. I just need it.
You know what, Corey? I hope you get up a game on me this week.
I'm already up 2, but I hope. Yeah.
All right. Well, now it'll definitely only be 1.
Todd.
Yeah, I'm just looking at team stats, fellas. The Ravens lead the league in sacks. The Seahawks offensive line is shaky at best. Geno Smith been being sacked 14 times this year as well. As much as I like Corey's spunk, that's a cum joke at the end, right? I just did another cum joke there.
If you're English.
We've all seen Train Spotting. That's Scottish. That's a bad joke. Sorry. I just think the Ravens take this one at home. I would love to see Seattle go out there and throw up 35 on Baltimore and take the wind out of their sails, but I just don't see it happening this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Corey ride solo on this one this week. I don't see any way in which the Ravens lose this one. They shouldn't. I hope they do. I would be.
Yeah, we all want them to lose.
I would be happy to be wrong, but I am hedging my happiness here. As far as the AFC North is concerned,
dude, I'm solo dolo
Chad
with the chat. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Seahawks are winning for sure.
100% solo. Let's see here.
Todd, are we shocked?
Todd is also 100% solo with the Chiefs. No, I'm sorry. No, him and Aaron both took.
That was the Titans.
My apologies.
Titans. I took the Titans. Everybody else took the Steelers.
Yep, except for.
Are we shocked? Are we shocked if either of those games goes to the Lone Wolf? Though, are we shocked?
No, but that's the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh, well, but I'm also a lone wolf on the Packers here. Don't forget about.
Well, that one will be shocked.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think
Todd's taking some chances this week. Chat, trying to get back in it.
I think we're in both of those matches, Titans, Steelers, and Ravens, Seahawks. I think we're looking at both very evenly matched teams in terms of quality of play. I think The Ravens are obviously one of the best teams in the AFC, and the Seahawks are obviously one of the best teams in the NFC. I would say that both of them are top 4 in their conference, at least, right? At least at this point, I think we can say that. So, should be
British
fun.
coming in with a comment saying Ravens messed up by not being running back buyers. I want to give them the edge here because they are at home. Any thoughts on them being buyers at running back? I mean, Gus Edwards had a decent week last week.
All they did was save a running back's career by not adding him to the roster. Is basically what they did.
Yeah, that is what that is an ACL nightmare.
R.I.P. J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, yeah, the Vikings, the Ravens. The Ravens are good though, guys. Like I don't.
They are. They are. They absolutely are.
They're a good football team.
I just.
Always have
poor Corey.
Up with the fucking Wi-Fi. God damn.
Oh man.
Still nothing. Yeah. Either way, it's honestly, it's my dream come true to see Corey just going on and on, but there's nothing coming out. So this is for me. This is just phenomenal.
After a few beers,
yeah.
What are we doing here? You know.
Well, what we're doing here is we're moving on to the next game, Corey. We've got the Buccaneers.
Just give me a minute. Hold on.
I
swear to God, I'm good.
All right, you good now? Great. Yeah. Fantastic. Glad to hear it. Buccaneers headed on the road to take on the Texans. Interesting matchup this week. Interesting matchup. Yeah. Todd, I'll let you take this one. Who you got?
Yeah, this was kind of a push here, boys. Kind of a push game.
A lot of close calls this week. Could go
I agree.
Definitely thought we were going to talk about Cleveland and Arizona next, so I am very ill prepared to make my pick for this game.
I mean, we can go to Browns Cardinals.
That's all right. That's all right. We're already in here.
You can see what my notes look like. I'm drawing a wolf.
I'm taking the Texans. I'm taking the Texans at home. Kind of a fluky week for them last week in Carolina. They're bound to win one. What's one against 2 rookie quarterbacks going up against each other? I see C.J. Stroud bouncing back and played pretty nicely against this Bucs defense.
Aaron.
Yeah, Stroud's played fantastic this year. I mean, he's playing exactly how you want a rookie quarterback to play. You know, he's showing you everything of why you drafted him. The irony was that the team that they lost to was the Panthers, who all year I've been saying, you know, boy, I bet if they could, you know, take it all back, they'd take Stroud if they could. And of course, you know, they ended up, you know, being the spoils there and getting their first win. So thing here is though, the Bucs actually played really well against the Bills last week, I thought, and give them that little bit of extra time off from Thursday to Sunday, the following Sunday, that is. And I'll take the Bucs here. I think they're still right in the thick of it in their division. Not that, you know, Houston's, you know, still kind of hanging around, but I think the Jaguars are just too good. And I just don't see a way that 2 teams are going to come out of that division unless Levis just completely turns it off from, or, you know, goes off from here. But that doesn't seem very likely to me. You know, I actually thought Baker played pretty good last week. You know, that receiving core is, of course, you know, fantastic. And the Bucs defense is still really good. And I think they can, you know, cause some struggles for the rookie quarterback, although he has played, you know, beautifully all season. So I'll take the Bucs here.
Corey.
Yeah, taking the Bucs. I feel like they're a better roster. I do like what I've seen. I'm gonna just echo every fucking thing that Aaron just said. I like what I've seen out of CJ Stroud, but I got to go with the Buccaneers here. Also, British, nice way to join the boys here with the threatened to elongate. There's got to be a dick joke in there somewhere. Nice job.
Thanks for that, Corey.
Yeah, elongate. Get it?
Well done.
Thank you.
Glad that we can really show our true maturity level.
I leave it at the door when I come on this podcast.
I have looked at this word for too long now that I'm looking at it like elongate, where it's like
elongate,
like and some kind of Watergate joke.
Yeah, he did something.
You guys are making these segues super tough for me tonight.
Dude, you're killing it.
I'm also taking the Buccaneers here. I really liked what I saw.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got a little lone wolf action here.
I got
Thanks for
3
the
lone
journal.
wolfies against you boys.
You
I like
do.
it.
I'm either in the driver's seat or I am fucked.
Or the trunk, yeah. Right?
Absolutely. So can we get an update on Mike Evans receiving yards? Where are we at? Because
He's gotta be close to the over.
I know the
He's got to be
over-
just on pace to hit like 1,001.
Yeah. I'm curious. What was
Pulling
it?
it up
Like
right now.
985 or 984?
It was
He had a slow-
857.
Yeah.
What is he at?
No, I was just saying the over under was 857 or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
we won his 1,000-yard season.
Right. But Bobby had asked where were we at? on the over.
Right.
Yeah. So hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
507.
507. He's on pace.
He's pacing.
He's on pace.
They already had their bye week.
He's the receiving leader.
Good for you,
for
Mikey.
Tampa.
507. So 493 yards away from how many straight seasons? 11?
9.
All of them?
This would be 10, I believe.
10?
Yeah, it's either 9 or 10.
I believe it would be the record for starting the career. Yeah. Or no, I think it already is, and it would be the record for most consecutive thousands. Yeah.
I think no, I thought that was 14 by Jerry.
It's something. I don't know then.
It's up there.
He's
Boy,
good.
that's something.
I'm off my game this week. I'm slow coming out of the bye.
Rob, what's up, man? Thanks for liking the video as well. Good evening. Sorry, nobody took the Bears here.
We all
this
took
week.
the Saints, bro.
Everybody took
Sorry.
the Saints. So,
He
But
gets
that's
it.
good news for you.
yeah, it's great news for you.
'Cause, yeah,
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
we got winning records. We all have winning records.
but doesn't it always, every time you see it on like Cold Takes Exposed, it's the entire panel. Goes, no, I got them. And then they're like, oh, you idiots.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Absolutely. All right, Todd. Cardinals headed to Cleveland. You said you had notes and stats.
Well, I
Let's hear
didn't say I had notes or stats. I just said I was preparing.
Just for that game.
I was preparing to make my pick of the Browns for the game. Is kind of what I was alluding to here.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I am.
The
I am
floor is
very-
yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Todd.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much. Nope, nothing from here. Okay, all right, all right. I don't think we'll see.
Well,
Kyler Murray. Oh, you dirty dog! You fucking scoundrel! You tapped right in there. I don't think we'll see Kyler Murray this week, fellas. I don't think it's going to happen. I think if
new
he-
Call of Duty campaign's dropping.
I think if he was going to start, they probably would have announced it today. That's just my hunch. But yeah, I'm taking if it's PJ Walker or Deshaun Watson, I'm taking either of them over a rookie quarterback in Arizona's offense. That's it.
All right. Corey. I will echo that sentiment as well. Figured Aaron would like to address the comment from British and then move into his pick. So
Yeah,
have
throw it
at
on the screen. I mean, asking does
comments,
Deshaun
Brown.
even like football?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does, guys. This concept of like, I get it. It's pretty easy. I also think it's so easy in the moment to have these conversations. Listen, cool. All right. I'm talking to America right now. All right. So I don't think there's anything going on outside of the fact that the guy's injured. There's the fact that it got reported that he was cleared to play. Yeah, he was, because they misdiagnosed the injury at first. Okay, they thought it was just your standard contusion, and all you can do with this thing is rest it, guys.
Yeah, there's
So
no
that's-
analytics in medical. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you if he was good to go, he'd be out there. I truly believe that. Now, when he's been out there, has he been bad? Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But I don't believe this. And the people in the Browns locker room have even come out and been like, I don't know where this is coming from, but like, yeah, of course he wants to play. He wants to be out there. He just physically can't. And frankly, if you physically can't throw the football, I don't know how into the analytics you guys are here, not making for good quarterback play.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Throwing shoulder injuries are tough, man. It's you're not effective.
Yeah.
Still taking the Browns this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Brown. I mean, listen, man, the Cardinals. The funny thing will be if Kyler does end up playing. I think that could make this a little bit interesting because I just don't know what you're going to get out of him. But he's always been the thorn in the side of the Browns every time we've played him. He always plays us really, really well. He's so frustrating. I hate watching him. But yeah, I think the defense, although they started slow last week, I think they put in the work and they played really, really well to keep them in that game. It's tough when you have PJ throwing 3 picks a game, or 3 turnovers a game is really, really tough. And I have listen, man, PJ Walker has played admirably. I have no qualms with him. He's literally playing the best that he can. I think Stefanski is doing just fine. I actually think all things considered, like for the Browns to be 4-3 with everything that's going on is insane to me. This is a standard year where they're sitting here with everything at their feet and they're like 2-7 somehow. And you look back on, 4 losses by 3 or some weird, ridiculous game. I don't see this defense giving this one up, especially with the Browns being at home. And this defense at home has been just a totally different, showing. The only loss they have at home is that Ravens game when, DTR starts not knowing he's going to play an hour and a half until kickoff. So, we'll see. The weather seems like it's going to be okay. We've had some weird weather here in Cleveland all season. So that could be a factor if not, but the Browns defense is still just too good.
I'll tell you, the Browns have had some of the best backup quarterback play over the last 2 seasons. Considering everything that they've been through.
I would have loved for them to trade for Jacoby. Loved it. Would have loved it.
Yeah, he would have obviously slid right in. So,
nice.
That one was for you, Corey. All right. Speaking of backup quarterback play, we've got the Indianapolis Colts headed to Carolina to take on the Panthers.
Dude, you're crushing these segues, dude. You're crushing them.
Trying, man. Trying to
they've all been good.
Trying to keep it lively in here. We don't want any backdoor surprises.
Or do we?
Maybe. Well, you can ask Earl about that.
Knock it till you try it.
All right. Well, let's give this one a try, Corey. Colts on the road in Carolina. Who you got?
Yeah, I got to go.
Another good segue. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's killing it right now. Bobby might get a fucking Grammy out of this. I don't know, but I got to go with the Colts here. I like that Carolina rallied as a team to get the win against another rookie quarterback and a team that has low expectations for the season and everything like that. But I think the Colts, what they've been able to do from the running game, not only, God damn it, Gould, shut up. Not only out of Jonathan Taylor, but also out of Zach Moss. I think what we've seen out of Zach Moss over the last couple of weeks has been fantastic. I think this is a guy that is had his opportunities, kinda in Buffalo. I don't think he really got a fair shake in Buffalo because of their refusal. Hey, there's a cat. His refusal to people that are listening on Spotify right now are just like, what the fuck is going on? Buffalo's refusal to establish the running game is probably the reason that Zach Moss never really do. Am I blocking out again? I'm good. All right,
literally look like you're having a stroke.
Well, maybe I am. I'm going with the Colts. They're a better team. I don't need to spend too much more fucking time on this.
Todd.
Take the under.
Take the under. 4 minutes is like being on DMT. This is fucking wild.
Nice, dude.
It's like a brain blackout. Wild stuff. I'm taking the Colts too. I'm looking at just from a stat perspective, Gardner Minshew and Bryce Young are identical,
which is sad for Gardner. That's
bad. But
Gardner hasn't started every game.
No, but he's played in almost every game though.
Yeah, most of them. As you say, he's played.
I don't know how comparable that is.
I think he's played in every game.
All but 2 he started, I think.
Yeah, but you're saying their stats are almost identical, so it's like
Okay, we'll revisit this later in the season. I don't think they're going to end up being that different because he hasn't played well. I think is the point Todd's getting off with.
Yeah,
And he hasn't. He hasn't played well at all.
Gardner?
He's turning the ball. No, he's turning the ball over like crazy.
I think he's playing just fine for a backup quarterback.
He has 7 fumbles.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, that's not good.
I'll retract my statement.
More fumbles than starts.
Yeah. But I was really only going to make the point that I think the Colts found something dynamic between the Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss combo. I think that's a pretty heavy 1-2 punch that Colts fans should be very pleased with because you get 2 more years of it after this year. But yeah, this is a fucking snoozer. What a shitty 4:00 game. I'm taking.
Where the fuck is Michael Pittman?
Bust?
Yeah, let's ask Ghoul. See if they have any comment.
Yeah, bust. Is he a bust?
He thinks so.
I think
Pittman? No.
you at least have to have you can make an argument that he is overvalued.
Okay.
In the NFL.
Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah.
Oh,
in terms of what he has returned and what the expectation is versus what he's returned, there is an overvalue there. But I also think that the Colts just have an absolute dog shit wide receiver. I mean, Josh Downs is their best receiver. And he's a 3rd or 4th round pick this year for them. And I don't know. I mean, Pittman's got 530 yards and 3 tutties and an offense where he should be getting the ball 12 to 15 times. This should be, you guys remember when Allen Robinson was like the only receiver for the Bears? This is what that's what this year should have been for Michael Pittman Jr. He should have 12 to 15 catches a game.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
British
That's what Allen Robinson did.
Saying, sorry, I was going to say Minshew is better coming off of the bench, which I don't think anybody here is going to disagree with you. When he comes off the bench, he's
Like
much
Nick
better
Foles.
than starting. Yeah. Nick Foles off the bench, top 5 quarterback.
Elite, massive.
You put a guy with long hair and a mustache in a corner, he's going to fucking crawl his way out. There's a guy in the bottom corner of the screen that'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're looking for mustache rides, you can find them down in Carolina this week. All right, next game on the slate.
Detroit.
I don't think I gave you mine, but yeah, that's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Aaron.
Aaron, the afterthought.
Definitely our best pod, I would say, hands down.
Killing it.
The Panthers are averaging 18 points a game. The Colts haven't scored less than 22 in a game. Guys, I'm taking the Colts here. I'm taking them hard. Corey, you had said taking the under in this game. I don't think so. The Colts, for whatever reason, every game they're in is like 60 combined points.
Did I say take the under?
Yeah.
I'm still mid-stroke, so
That's fair.
We'll
run the tape tomorrow.
Here? You know what? I don't even want to know.
Just change the title of this to K-Hole. Rally Top Sports K-Hole episode. That's what we've just fucking gone down.
Yes, a lot of holes have been explored. Anyways,
God damn it!
So segues, dude.
Moving forward,
I start calling you fucking Paul Blart up in here with all these segues, bro.
Could you imagine if I just rolled in on one of those things? Like,
God, that would be fucking cool.
What a great Halloween costume that would be, though.
Paul Blart.
If you had a segue, like, is there any?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna rent one next year for trick or treating with the girls and just be Paul Blart. Yeah.
That would be hilarious. That would be
good.
That would be a great Halloween costume. All right, next game we've got the New York Football Giants taking things on the road out to Vegas to take on the absolute dumpster fire.
Let's
that
go,
is the Vegas Raiders. Yikes.
Dude, shout out Las Vegas firing their coach, their GM, and saying, fuck that quarterback in like 8 minutes.
And their offensive coordinator, gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Love it.
So, notoriously, the last couple years, like when there's a huge explosion, we saw was it Carolina last year that like we just like they were in complete shambles. They fired a bunch of people. It was
the
Matt
Colts
Rule.
brought in Jeff Saturday.
Oh,
and won a football game. Todd,
that's
great segue. I'm taking the Raiders here, boys. I'm serious.
I figured somebody was going to do it.
This always happens, and I know I think it's Bill Simmons that always dubs it the Ewing theory. Now,
If the Raiders beat the Giants, is Dayball's job?
no.
I don't know, man.
I'm getting there, Bobby.
I'm not.
getting there, man. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
If you call back to Charlie's the first comment on this video to what Charlie said, he's ready for Brian Daboll to be fired.
Yeah. I don't even think they're talking about it in New York.
He has nothing to work with, to be fair.
That's
Like,
what I'm
there's-
saying.
There's nothing on that roster.
Him getting that team to the playoffs last year is more impressive to me
It's a miracle.
than I am upset with what he's doing with this roster this year.
This is what they were supposed to do last year. This is exactly
That's a great point. Yeah.
Here's the only difference. They're in cap hell now. They're
They are.
absolutely fucked. 4 ways to Tuesday by hitching to their wagon to a horse that is probably lame and needs to be put down after spending some time at Santa Clara. This is a bad roster, and this franchise is in rough fucking shape going forward, man. It's tough. It's tough. Feel bad for Giants. Oh no, I don't give a fuck about Giants fans. I don't.
Corey,
The
who you got?
one thing for the Giants is their defense has been playing a lot better the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yep. Held the Jets to 10 or 13, right?
It's like a shitstorm rainstorm, wasn't it? During that game, like it's like a sloppy game, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Right.
believe so.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that because they tried to show it like the overtime game right before the Bengals came on, and I was just like, you got to put that Bengals game on, please. And then they cut away from it and then showed the highlights at the end. But it looked like it was like a rainstorm, bad. I don't know. It didn't look like it was a conducive for offense. It didn't seem.
All right, let's take a look here. So we got British going with the Raiders. We got Josh and Pops going with the Colts. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the last game. Wait, they don't have the picks in yet. All right, Corey, who do you have?
I'm going with Aaron on this one. I'm going with the Raiders.
Wow.
Oh, I really wanted this to be my
Look,
lone
yeah.
wolf.
No,
Drop
but-
British's comment, put it in here. This is why I was picking the Raiders too. When Gruden resigned, they fucking popped off with that special teams coach the following week. You guys remember that? I mean, that was
No,
3
I
years
do.
ago.
I do. We were
Yeah.
talking about it, and we were like, "Oh no, that was Jeff Saturday." So I think that was 2 years ago, right? So it was the year
two-
prior to that, right?
Yeah,
It was
they
this
popped
always
off.
seems to happen.
And I don't know if you guys saw Antonio Pierce's like little public speech that or his presser today. I would run through a fucking brick wall for that guy.
Yes.
And do yourself a favor and go watch it if you haven't.
I haven't
because
watched it.
He
I would
sets
probably.
very-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Todd.
No, he just sets very clear and finite expectations that he is, while he is an interim head coach at this point, he is not taking his foot off the gas. And for an organization that that's a literal shit the bed. A rookie running back had more total offense than your offense did on Monday night. And the Raiders responded correctly, but the fucking problem is that they're arguably the worst money management organization in sports because they're still paying Gruden and they have to pay Josh McDaniels unless he gets a coordinator job somewhere. They have to pay him for 4 more years after this. Like
That's insane.
it's a fucking night. The Raiders are a nightmare organization. It's a train wreck there. But anytime a head coach gets fired or something happens, teams bounce back the following week and just go bananas. It always seems to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is.
the perfect team to do it against.
I was just
Really.
gonna say it's not like they're playing like an upper echelon team, even.
Right.
Like,
If they're playing in the AFC West, they're getting their ass kicked around, right? Or if they're playing, like the Chiefs, I think they get their ass kicked around. But you're playing a team that's already fucking scraping to get by. And is Daniel Jones going to play this week, or are we going to get Tommy DeVito again?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
we got
that's a
fucking
good question.
Farva playing quarterback for the Raiders, so that's pretty exciting.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, he looks
Aiden
just
O'Connell.
Like, he looks
Yeah.
just
Really
like
does.
Farva.
he does. But the offense has moved
for
better
a
when
cop.
he's been the quarterback. He's better. He is statistically, when you put Garoppolo and O'Connell game to game against each other, O'Connell has been the better quarterback. And they got to pay Garoppolo $12 million next year, no matter what.
They
Yeah,
might
that's-
they might actually throw the ball to Devontae, which would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be
development.
it'd be an interesting theory.
That was
Interesting
going to be my
strategy.
question. You think Devonta Adams finally like has 100 yards in a game?
I mean, he had one this year where he went off like vintage, and then he's been,
Quiet.
I don't know, Kendrick Bourne the rest of the year.
It's almost kind of like the same thing that we saw happen to D-Hop almost, right? Like at a certain
Interesting,
point,
yeah.
like we were talking about one of the best wide receivers in the league, like best route runners, just 50-50 balls. Like Devontae, he was the shit. And now it doesn't seem that way. Like we're not even like if you were to list off top 5 wide receivers, I don't even think people are really talking about him right now.
Yeah, I guess the only difference for me is with D-Hop, there was a eyeball test of he seemed to be regressing a little bit from a skills perspective, just from getting older. Right. I don't feel that way watching Adams. I still think all of those physical traits lie within the player. I just think it's that bad of a situation. So, it's which is which, right? Like, but then you see this past week, D-Hop, dials the time machine back and he's playing like, he's back with Houston. So, like I still think Hopkins still has that ability in him too. It's unlike what we saw with like Julio Jones, where it was steady cliff. So I don't think Adams is quite there yet. I just think it's that bad of a situation. I think Jimmy G's been bad. I understand why they made the O'Connell move. It's a lot of changes in a week. But I think it was probably at the point where it was untenable in that locker room. And you have a lot of guys now that at least have something to fight for, and a team, and Todd had mentioned it, a team in the Giants to kind of take it like a piñata. I like the Raiders a lot this week. And if they lose, I wouldn't be surprised because, again, what we've seen from them all year. But, I feel like I've seen this story enough times that I'm comfortable making the pick in another one of these coin toss games where I can at least I can see the storyline. And hats off to McDaniels being the first coach in NFL history to be fired in under 2 years by 2 separate franchises.
Sheesh.
Yeah, can we just be done with this?
Yeah, we are.
Like it's
Taking the Raiders. Moving on.
He's the James Harden of the NFL.
Feed Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, Devonta Adams, big games this week. Raiders +7.
Is it?
Raiders. Wow.
I think they win by 7.
Oh. I was like, no way. It's got to be like 3 at best.
Yeah. I was like,
It's
holy
2.
shit. Raiders +2.
Yeah.
No.
I would take Raiders minus. I would take
-2.
-7 on the Raiders. I would tease that line.
Just alt spread it and get yourself some juice.
Yeah. I might do that. All right, we got a divisional matchup coming up next, guys. Got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. Probably one of the best games of the day. Should be one of the best games of the day.
Well, I mean, we've seen them play already this year, and it was.
There's a pretty good one on Sunday night.
There's a decent game Sunday night. We'll get to it.
It's fine.
All right, Todd. Cowboys on the road, Philly. Who you got?
I'm taking the Eagles, boys. This offense is there ain't nobody in that secondary in Dallas that could slow down AJ Brown. While the running game is slightly regressed in Philadelphia, I don't think that really matters much here. Dak Prescott's coming off of a pretty decent game, so he's due for a 3-pick game against this Philadelphia secondary. That's what I see happening. I really think that the Eagles made one of the best trades in getting Kevin Byard from the Titans for that secondary. That is
non-deadline move. We haven't that's probably the biggest trade of the year.
The mayor.
Yeah. I mean, he is an absolute force, and and Tennessee was willing. I mean, they signed him right going into.
I was gonna say it's kind of a surprise based on that.
Yeah,
right?
Gave him a 5-year deal going into the season and dealt him out because of what they got a pretty decent haul back for him. But Philadelphia recognizes that this is a guy that provides serious leadership to that secondary that's necessary for them to kind of coast their way through the NFC and get to the playoffs. It'll be his first week. I just think that, Mike McCarthy's a shitty coach. I said it last year. I'll say it this year, and he's going to get out coached, and they'll get. I don't think this will be a very close game, and I want to say it this way: the score might not reflect how much Philadelphia is in the driver's seat for the entirety of the game. That's kind of how I see this one.
Fair enough, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with the Eagles here. We kind of, a lot of times when games are close and it's a division game and they've already played, I like to kind of play the other side of it. It was an absolute beatdown last time. I don't really see any reason to give the Cowboys any little bit of lead here. But with that being said, if we want to talk about how can the Cowboys, win this game, we've seen the Eagles just kind of coast a little bit in games. Like against, I think they walked into that Commanders game just thinking we have the best players on the field. Guys are going to make plays. We'll be fine. Yeah, that ended up happening. We got to see AJ Brown be AJ Brown, and like you guys had said before, we've been talking about Tyreek Hill all year. I think you're right. I think we do need to give AJ Brown the love for what he's doing this year, and I think we are, but I don't think to the same way that we are doing it with Tyreek Hill, because it's just the way he does it is just like unlike anybody else. I've seen guys like AJ Brown in the league. He's just a big, overpowering receiver. He's not, he's quick, but he's not a burner by any means, but he is just mean when that ball is in the air. And God, is it fun to watch. And we finally saw the Eagles fail a tush push last week. It took Hurts fumbling that. Yeah, right. Hey, great point, Corey. Yeah. And that's something that I'm sure that they're, we'll keep defenses even more honest than a 91% success play can be. But yeah, I think the Eagles are just not only just the better team, but I just think they have the Cowboys number.
Fair enough. I've also got the Eagles this week until they basically prove me wrong. I mean, the Cowboys have let me down, obviously. Look at me. I'm not I'm not gambling on the Cowboys, although, you got to give
Cowboys didn't let me down, I'll tell you that.
Cowboys had a great week last week. CeeDee Lamb probably had his best game of the season up to this point.
He did.
So, that they were clicking on all cylinders, at least on the offensive side of the ball. So I just don't think they're any match for the Eagles. AJ Brown is unbelievable, and I don't see any reason why his streak of 120 yards plus doesn't continue this week. So we all have the Eagles pretty handily here. Now on to that.
I didn't say my pick, but yeah, I do have the Eagles.
Do you have anything to add, sir? My apologies.
I just say the Eagles are the best team in football. It's not even close right now. Like like Aaron was 100% right earlier in the season when he crowned them as his. I think you have him as your Super Bowl champ, don't you not?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's 100% right so far. Obviously, there's a lot that can happen between now and then, but the Birds are the most complete team in football right now.
Yeah, going into the season and continuing to add and build throughout up until the trade deadline, they've done a really nice job. So,
Lincoln Financial is going to be a place of violence.
So let me ask you guys this. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Why does Sirianni not get the same flowers as Mike McDaniel?
Because he's an asshole and Mike McDaniels is funny. Seriously, I think that's it.
I know, but what my point is, who's a better coach?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think the reason you're giving McDaniel the flowers over Sirianni is because of the way that he is utilizing the football. And what I mean by that is in the same way
giving it to the fastest player in the league.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when D'Antoni took over as coach of the Suns, or as the 7 seconds or less offense. And that's what we're seeing in Miami, where it's or take the first iteration of the Rockets with James Harden. And again, that's D'Antoni again in Houston. I think what it is the fact that we're just seeing football on a different level that we're not used to seeing, in the same way in the NBA, where it was like, oh yeah, if you just chuck a bunch of 3-pointers, it's pretty good for your offense. In the same way, it's like, let's get the ball to the fastest players on the field and score points at a rapid pace because you need points to win. So I think, Corey, part of it isn't necessarily X's and O's as much as it is, what puts butts in the seats, and that's the offense. And it's just kind of offense that we're not used to. It's like college offense that we're seeing in the NFL, where there are so many guys like Chip Kelly or other college coaches that have come in and tried to do this, and it's McDaniel has kind of taken that West Coast Shanahan offense and kind of just put a little bit, extra speed into it, so it seems fresher and newer. I think what the Eagles are doing is just dominating opponents by saying we have the best roster. I don't think the Dolphins have the best roster. I think they built their roster in such a way that you give more props to the coach because it's clearly the way that they're drawing up the plays to get their players in positions to succeed. When it's like in Philadelphia, I have this beast mammoth offensive line and a guy in Jalen Hurts, who is
Justin's his cousin.
Yeah, right. A really good quarterback, and a pretty solid defense to boot.
No, and I think that I really like that analogy, and the fact that I think that it kind of gets back to the point, and that while the offense in the regular season extremely successful, both in the NBA, as you made that D'Antoni analogy, when it comes time to winning championships, couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and I'd rather take the Popovich school than but here's the thing: when it comes to Coach of the Year, Corey, it's about that season. It's not how good is the overall team. It's what's the flavor of the week. And McDaniel's the flavor of the year this year. That's.
You think he's odds-on favorite for Coach of the Year?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have the odds up in front of me, but I think that.
Would you say that he's a top running candidate right
he's
now?
a top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Playoff team last year.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would you have in that conversation?
Arthur Smith would probably be in that conversation for me. Especially if the Falcons win the division, I think that
I'm not voting for a billionaire, dude.
I think he absolutely needs to be in there. Honestly, I think Pete Carroll could have.
So right
Carroll
now,
should have gotten it last year.
Oh, he's back.
Pete Carroll should have gotten it last year.
Right now, odds are Dan Campbell at plus 300, Mike McDaniel at plus 325.
Campbell's the one I was forgetting. Campbell should be the odds on paper.
And D'Amico Ryans at plus 750. Those are your top 3.
So McDaniel's at 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right to me. 100% correct.
It's tough for me to say Coach of the Year when you take a playoff team back to the playoffs. Like, I don't get that.
No, and that's why I'm saying I completely agree that Dan Campbell should be the Coach of the Year favorite, and I just was forgetting about it. I don't know if that Ravens game was still in my head or not. They played Monday Night Football that I didn't watch the game, and let's face it, it wasn't a good one anyway. So the Lions have just been a little bit off my radar just this last 2 weeks. But no, like when we were talking about doing the awards, I was going to have Campbell as my Coach of the Year.
So
sorry, Robert Saleh. I'm sorry, I had Robert Saleh and Ryans mixed up. So Saleh is the 3rd, and then D'Amico Ryans is 4th. Yeah.
That's not. I mean, Robert Saleh, and that's not bad either. Especially if they're going to be in playoff contention without their franchise quarterback. I think that's absolutely a nod toward the head coach. Real quick on the Lions, is Sam Laporta the second best tight end in the NFC behind George Kittle?
There's so many Kyle Pitts truthers. Yeah, probably.
I mean, for being a rookie and the production that he's had, and
it's crazy to say. That means he's better than TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is he better than Hawk? Is he better than
No, I was forgetting him too. I'm going to give it to Hawk, and the stats aren't going to show it from here on out because of course, what happened with Kirk.
Zach Ertz?
Nah.
Not anymore. 2 years ago.
Goddard. But no, I'd take Laporta over Goddard right now.
Pretty crazy.
Laporta's a freak, man. He is a freak.
Great rookie tight end class.
Yeah, the way that the Lions line up Laporta is, I have no idea how how he gets covered in the red zone. Just period. The way that they move him
around. What is he, 6'7"?
He's like 6'6", 270 or 260 or something like that, and they put him in motion into a slot receiver spot. I'm like,
he's not 6'6", 270.
There's no way. I said 260, didn't I?
There's no way he's 260.
That's
a big motherfucker. I mean, and he's big.
Let's look it up. I'll look it up right now.
That's like, dude, that's a big boy. That's Jared Sullinger running around. That's a big boy.
Man, I don't know the last time you guys have seen Major League 2.
6'4",
but
250.
This just made me
okay.
think of this because,
Dude,
like how
Not
you were
that
saying,
far off.
Not that far up, but just those, like, I don't know what it is about my brain and what you just said about those numbers. I was like, God damn, no way, dude. That just seemed so much bigger.
Giant running around out there.
George, to put it into perspective, George Kittle is pretty close to that size.
Yeah, they're about the same kind of player, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
yeah, they really
Yeah.
are, and there's the Iowa connection, of course, too.
Yeah.
But I think, like, to Todd's point there, the way that they line them up, like, it has to make the people in Atlanta puke. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is like,
and that's why I was asking. I was
watching-
like, I don't know the last time you guys have seen Major League 2, but as you were saying that, literally in my head, I was like, Parkman into his shimmy. It just makes the ladies here in Cleveland puke. Like,
crazy.
All right, boys. Kind of a decent Sunday night matchup this week. I don't probably not
say.
on. Yeah, probably on a few of your radars. We've got a rematch from. Well, I guess you can't really call it a rematch.
ooh,
No, divisional game.
Bills
that is true.
back in Cincinnati.
Mhm.
Obviously, the last time these two teams met, the game was not finished.
That's not true. Divisional round of the playoffs.
I meant regular season.
Wasn't that in? Yeah. Wasn't that in
It was in Buffalo. Yeah.
Right. Were you saying the
Yeah.
last one in Cincy wasn't
The
finished?
last one in Cincy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, last meeting in Cincinnati, the game obviously wasn't finished. Bengals, came out hot against them to start, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes this Sunday, guys. Aaron, I'll let you lead it off.
Yeah,
Bills-
I'll get in here real quick to let the
Yeah.
boys kind of
I'll follow
give us the
suit.
real. Yeah. The Bengals have the Bills goat, man. Like, they really, really do. I think, what we're seeing out of the Bengals the last couple of weeks, I was certainly concerned to see them start the season, but for whatever reason, apparently this is just how the Bengals play now. With Burrow, it's got to be just heart-wrenching for you guys over there, but at least you're seeing what you
So
should have
annoying.
been seeing all year. Right. And especially when you look at the AFC, the fact that you're even having to
Claw
put yourself
back,
in this
yeah.
position. But yeah, it's kind of like the in the spirit of Halloween of yesterday, it's like the zombie hand, climbing out of the graveyard, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing going on in Cincinnati, and I think this is the staple win for Cincinnati to get the playoff train back on the rails.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if you could call it a staple win with the way that the Bills have played this year. The Bills haven't played good, great football the whole season.
Are they
The
coming
Bills
up
have
a bye?
played, yeah. No,
Granted-
they had the
They
long
played
layoff with
last
the
Thursday.
Bucks.
I was gonna say,
Oh, that's
granted,
right. I'm sorry.
granted, the Bills are still, they're obviously a perennial playoff team, but they have not looked stellar this year. And the Bengals are finally doing what we thought they were going to do when they started the season. So this is an easy one for me, Bengals. Go ahead, guys. Have at it.
Todd, would you like me to lead this one off, or would you like?
No, I'll start. We can.
Okay.
I'll play both sides here. So
Let's play a
watching
little
Jo-
pickleball. Back and forth.
So watching Josh Allen play on Thursday was interesting because obviously they were talking about him having a shoulder injury. It kept him out of practice a little bit. And I got to be honest with you, I think Josh Allen moves the ball better with a shoulder injury than he does when he's 100% healthy. That's what I saw in Tampa Bay. He was not taking as many risks. He was taking a safer route out of pure necessity, right? I'm not saying the shoulder injury makes him better. I'm just saying that because he was hindered to kind of stretch the field or attempt to stretch the field, he made safer plays. And I thought that was an interesting thing to see from him. He still had a kind of a stupid turnover where he threw that interception off the batted ball.
That was just a great play on defense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Antoine Winfield Jr. made a great play on that. But I think the biggest difference here is that I don't think that the middle of the field is going to be quite as open for Josh Allen against the Bengals as it was for Tampa Bay. They were kind of giving him that opportunity a lot based on, I think you look at the film with Josh Allen, he likes to stretch the field. So Tampa Bay played a lot of kind of like cover 3, that split safety that we see all the time, where they were trying to force him to bring the ball forward, and he did a good job of moving them down the field. Again, I think the biggest difference is you're not going to see the Bengals. I think arguably you look at Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt as a combination, or I think they're the 2 best pass defending linebackers in the NFL as a combo in the package of both of them. I'm not saying that they're 1 and 2, but you put those guys together and it's pretty fucking hard to throw the ball over center field between those 2 guys.
Logan Wilson leads all linebackers with interceptions since 2020 with 10.
Yeah, and he's top 5 this year in interceptions.
Yeah.
So I think that's I don't see Buffalo getting to run the ball. I don't think that that's going to be a big threat. So, and I watched the Bengals play really nicely against Christian McCaffrey running the ball on Sunday.
59 rushing yards.
Yeah, I think that that's more than what you can ask for from them defensively. The 5-man formation against McCaffrey. I mean, I'll give flowers to Anarumo. His game plan against San Francisco was pretty much damn near perfect. It was. I'll argue that with anybody. But to this game, I think you saw kind of like the perfect storm happen in San Francisco. I think when you start off super hot, that first drive where the Bengals moved the ball down the field in like 6 minutes, I think the first thing Corey and I said to each other was like, holy fuck. I think that was the first thing we said to each other. Holy fuck. Like that, everything went perfectly. And it was,
I think I said, I'm erect or something like that.
I'm going to come.
And I think I feel pretty confident in saying that Buffalo's defense is not what they saw on Sunday. Now you're going to see some different looks, and Buffalo gets to the quarterback a lot. I think they're second in the NFL in sacks this year.
Von Miller's there.
Yeah. So I think you're going to see where San Francisco didn't get to Burrow as much. I think you're going to see Buffalo make a stronger attempt to get to him. But if they can run the offense that they ran Sunday to even 80%, I think it's equally as effective. So I'll echo Bobby a little bit. I haven't been overly impressed with what Buffalo is. They beat Tampa Bay on Thursday like they should have. And
Miami win was good.
Yeah, right. But they
Very
let
good.
Tampa Bay stay in that game for a long time, really until the fourth quarter. And
fair. Yeah. It was almost Hail Mary away from losing that thing too.
Yeah. So I just think that
That's the ball.
Are you doing my baseball?
I think Buffalo is overvalued overall as a team this year. I do. I think that there's.
I think nationally, you're right, Todd.
Disagree with you.
Todd is 100% right nationally. I think the 4 of us are all on the same page, and I think we all agree. I think we all discount the Bills more than the standard aggregate would. So Todd, I completely agree with you from a national perspective. And Bobby, I think I know exactly where you're going to go with that. I think all of us have I think if there's one team that we pegged correctly from the beginning of the year, stayed consistent with our picks, and until now, it's the Bills. And I think we've all been right.
Yes,
and we can't say that about every team.
Picks week to week and figure out how right we've been on a per team basis, what teams we had the best record for, and what teams we had the worst record for. So maybe at the end of the season, I'll go back through and do all that.
That'd be sick.
That would be interesting.
Mine's the Falcons because every time I fucking pick them, they lose.
Did you pick them this week?
That's a long time ago.
Todd did pick the Falcons, so I guess the Vikings are winning this week, boys.
I'm
sorry, Atlanta.
Yeah, they play the Vikings though, so right.
Yeah,
and then
I think we all rode it. Yeah,
I think I feel.
Yeah, we all rode the Falcons.
I can't wait to see.
So Todd, long-winded way of saying you've got the Bengals this week. Corey, do you have anything to add?
Long-winded and accurate way of saying that.
Yeah.
Bengals,
yeah. Well done, Todd. Well done, Todd. I think just a couple of things to add to that. I am taking the Bengals as well. I'll just get that out of the way. But yeah, I appreciate that.
When is he not taking them?
I didn't take them.
Let me look.
I think I didn't take them 1 week.
You didn't take them against the Rams. I was the only one that did.
Okay,
that's right.
Okay.
I took the Rams. Yeah,
okay.
That's right. Yep. So the thing that I'm going to look for, what I saw a lot in that Tampa Bay game for the Bills, is they got Stephon Diggs involved often. I think the over/under on Stephon Diggs receptions was like 7.5. It's like a second quarter cover. It wasn't even close. Like, he was so involved in that offense. A lot of it, as Todd indicated, was over the middle. I don't think you can get that against the Lou Anarumo defense. I think a lot of what the Bengals do is take away the middle, and they force you to try and test their corners that they feel very confident in a Chidobe Awuzie and a Cam Taylor-Britt, whose names, by the way, we didn't hear anything from the entire game on Sunday against the 49ers, which is amazing, actually. I think, obviously, if Deebo Samuel's in that game, it's a completely different story.
For sure.
But he's not, so we didn't. I'm going to be very interested to see how that works. You take away the middle, leave the top. We're going to be seeing. We're going to need to see a lot out of Dax Hill. We're going to need to see a lot out of Nick Scott. We're going to need to see a lot out of the rookie Jordan Battle coming from Alabama. We're going to need to see these guys step up and play some football and fill the void that has been left by a Jesse Bates and a Von Bell. So I'm going to be interested to see that. I feel confident in it. And Lou Anarumo, especially over the last couple of weeks, has shown us that he is almost in midseason form at this point as well. Yeah. Obviously, Todd indicated the ability.
We are midway through the season. So
yeah, the ability to stop the run, the ability to control what offenses have been able to do well so far this season. Lou is there. From the offensive side, I mean, the offensive line. Jesus Christ. Yeah, 3 sacks against San Francisco, but that front is insane. They have
85 PFF score. That's the highest of the season so far.
They have probably three guys on their front 4 that are top 5 in their position, which is just stupid. Just absolutely stupid. And
they only got better this week.
Yeah, right. They did only get better this week. It's a fair point. Well, you let Joey B cook at home on you, and you got to go address that pass rush. But Joe Burrow looked great. He had a ton of time. The mobility was there. Fantastic. The biggest thing from this offense, though, the running game. The running game was phenomenal. And it was like the ghost motion with Jamar Chase to a backside zone with Mixon, the wide pitch run plays that they were running with Mixon, getting him out in space. Joe Mixon is a downhill runner. So what does this all stem from? Joe Burrow being able to take snaps from under center. Joe Burrow being able to get under center and open things up with a play action read that looks more so like a run than an RPO and things like that. It changed the offense entirely. So can the Bengals establish the run? Can the Bills force the Bengals offensive line to have a bad game and get to Joe Burrow? That's the key to beating the Bengals every single time. Every single time. They've got the horses. They've got the defense. Can you disrupt Joe Burrow and get him off his game? That's how you beat them. I'm going to bet against that every single time. Who dat?
Shout out to Mike Hilton, too. Mike Hilton had an insane
Oh, my God.
game
Thank you.
on
I meant to
Sunday.
talk about him. He's a fucking animal.
He had
He's
an insane game on Sunday.
How did you let him go, Bob? But thank you for letting him go, Bob.
It would have
This dude
never
is a
happened if it was
freak.
my decision. I love Mike Hilton.
He's
I
a
still
fucking
love
animal.
Mike Hilton.
Yeah,
Like,
it's hard
he's
not to. He's
insane.
such a good dude.
He was
dude. He's
he
just
was
so
he was
fun.
such a good Steeler, and
There's a reason why he was made a captain as
Sideline guy. Like he is dapping people up. Like I don't know. He's just a really really cool guy.
I feel like every couple years they let go of somebody that they shouldn't. And
Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton was
I feel like every team kind of
Every team does that.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Like
no, it just sucks.
I
It
think
sucks
Corey
when
I can
it's
tell you
a
mine
divisional opponent.
today, like because we just had the trade deadline, like we just traded DPJ to the Lions. Like stats aren't great, but every time I watched a Browns game and they were running the ball, I just loved watching DPJ just hold a guy for push a guy for 10 yards and just move him upfield as like one of the best.
He's
blocking
gotten better too, like every single year. I feel like.
he has. And he's a free agent at the end of the year. Like they weren't going to re-sign him.
Good move.
Not even a good move. Like it's just you got Tillman sitting there as a third round pick. Yeah. You brought it. Yeah. You did him a solid by sending him to a place he probably wanted to go.
Yeah, he's
Cass
a
Tech
Michigan
High
guy,
School
right?
grad. Yeah, Cass Tech High School here in Detroit, University of Michigan. Now he's
Like
playing for
I
the
don't
Lions.
think he's going to
Pretty
sit here and have any ill will towards you know what I mean? Like yeah.
Probably grateful.
It was a mutually beneficial move. I hate it because is it like, can I see next year him like be a really solid number 2 receiver? Yeah. Like a poor man's Chris Godwin? Of course I could.
I just don't see how that made sense for the Lions. Like I don't feel like they got deeper at wide receiver, but did they get better? Like, did they add more talent to that wide receiver? I don't know.
Corey, I'm telling you, he is one of the best blocking wide receivers I have ever seen, and I could see the Lions even just that being like, just throw him on the right side, we'll run to the right. Like even just that for a 6th-round pick is important.
Sure,
gives him a real deep ball threat too.
Put him in the slot, have him crack down on a linebacker or something like that.
He's a big body. He can contest balls. And here's the thing: if you're going to throw like with PJ Walker, we just weren't getting him the ball, and I don't think he was ill content. I just think I think they wanted to see what they have in Tillman at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, and you got back what you put into him too, right? You got a 4th round.
Yeah, we drafted him for a 6. We got a 6 back.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Last game on the slate.
Oh shit! I forgot there's a Monday night game.
Yeah,
Uno Mas.
Uno Mas. We have the Chargers taking on the Jets Jets.
I hate this game.
I hate this game so much.
Well, I mean, so Aaron, you're the only one to accurately pick the Chargers last week. Chargers taking care of things against the Bears. Jets last week. I need to refresh my memory.
You guys all took the Bears over the Chargers?
Oh yeah. Me and Corey made a really strong point for the Bears last week, and we're just
you know what? That's right. I remember listening to that after being like, I'm actually really glad that I just had my preset pick because I feel like you could have convinced me.
Yeah.
Got Bobby. It worked.
Yeah. I was.
This is a really tough one, guys.
Me. The Jets coming off a very, very ugly win last week. Against the Giants. Very sloppy.
The referees handed them that game too. They should have never been able to
played
get
a big part, the last couple of weeks, and that game was definitely, I think, probably the most influenced by the officiating. So Giants really had one just stolen out from right underneath them. But
how about Breece Hall, guys?
Yeah,
what an animal!
I haven't led one off.
Comeback player of the year.
I'll go ahead and lead. I'll go ahead and lead this one off. This is a tough one. I'll take my medicine on this one. I faded the Chargers last week, and I'm doing it again this week.
Let's go.
I'm taking the Jets at home. Breece Hall is a beast. I think the Jets defense is leaps and bounds better than the Bears defense. And I don't think that Justin Herbert is going to I don't think he's really going to have a good day. People continuously talk shit about that field that they play on there in New York or New Jersey. It's the worst field in football from what I understand. So I'm going to take a team that is more comfortable playing in that environment, and I'm going to take the Jets. Hey, Ron.
It's fair. Yeah, this one's tough for me, and I think that's kind of been the theme of this week in general. I think and that should lead for a pretty wild Sunday. I can't take the Jets here, guys. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Surprisingly enough, looking at this game, the Jets are the team with the better record. I'm not saying that means that they should win. I mean, the Chargers are -3.5 on the road here. So call it -5 or what? Or no, minus. What are we doing now? We're doing 2.5 apparently in Vegas for home field. But anyways, I don't think Herbert has been that bad. I really don't think he's the problem. But Bobby, you made a really good point about this Jets defense. That's it. They can actually slow him down. I just don't think Zach Wilson can keep up the points in this game. I think if the Chargers get to 21, I think it's over. I think the Chargers haven't had a problem scoring points in general. I think it's keeping the defense off the field. Breece Hall has been an animal. Like I said, this is a coin flip for me, but I'm going to take the Chargers. It feels bad. I'll just lay that out there. I don't feel good making this pick, but I'm gonna stick with the Chargers.
Corey,
where's the game?
New York.
New York.
Jets.
Todd. All right, so just to help you out here, right now, we are split 3-3. between panel and chat. It is
I
dead.
know.
You were the
I
tiebreaker.
also picked Jets a little bit because me and Aaron, if me and Aaron went the same way, if I picked Chargers, Todd would have went Jets. So I think me splitting puts Todd a little bit more of in a bind,
Yeah,
and it's fun.
you're right. You're right, because now I have to think. I got to think a little bit deeper because I didn't think you were going to go that way.
It's like Risk, and you just trapped him in Australia.
Mm-hmm. He's in Kamchatka.
Fuck.
Actually, Australia's a great piece of land.
Yeah, not as great as South America, but pretty good.
I'm taking the Jets. I'm taking the
Good.
Jets.
I lone wolfing again on the Chargers.
This is
You are.
This is one
Don't
of those
believe in 'em.
scenarios
Back-to-back
where
weeks.
I see this. It's turnover town for Justin Herbert against the Jets. I just feel it happening. I'm very interested to see who they line up Sauce Gardner against. If he's lined up against Keenan Allen, or if they try to fade him to the other side of the field and put him up against a Jordan Palmer, Quentin Johnson kind of matchup. And if that's the case, then the Jets win the game, and I don't think the Chargers put up 14 on this defense, because I think that's where the dynamic happens.
That is not the way I thought you were going to go, and the only reason I want to just double back on the point you just made is I was like, oh, that's actually a really good point I didn't think of. I don't think Sauce Gardner will be as important in this matchup because him against Keenan Allen isn't that like Keenan Allen is at this point, he's kind of a big body finesse receiver. And then the other guys are like the deep burners. Sauce Gardner is really good at protecting the entire side of his field.
Right.
I actually don't think this is a great matchup for Sauce just because, you can shut down Keenan Allen, which is fine, but then you're going to probably play the screen game with Eckler.
That's what I was just going to say. I think the bigger part of this offense is Austin Eckler, and if they can get him going, that's the key.
But if you watched what the Chargers, right? So Austin Eckler's the leading receiver last week, right? I'm not discounting that.
And I think he was last year, wasn't he? At some point.
Yeah.
But
I think what I saw the Chargers do last week is they tried to so what they would do is they would attempt to run the ball. The Bears' run defenses, they held them to less than 30 yards rushing, and then they'd get to like the 3rd and 7 point or 3rd and 6 point, and then they'd stretch the field. Right. And a lot of that until Jordan Palmer got hurt was to that side of the field of Quentin Johnson, Jordan Palmer. My point being that I think the Jets have the ability to stop the Keenan Allen, over the middle or the Austin Eckler screen. And then they're forced to go one-on-one against Sauce Gardner. And I think he's the better matchup if you're playing him one-on-one. That's kind of the point that I'm making. I think he has the opportunity to make an impact that way.
No, and I don't think it's a bad point. And honestly, it only came into my head just as we were talking it through. Like him, I don't view Keenan Allen as like a 1A type receiver where if take the Bengals, for example, like if they're coming in and, if you can put Sauce on a guy like Jamar Chase, I think that does so much for against the offense of what they're trying to do. I don't really view Keenan Allen in that same way. They're kind of more of like a buffet style where it's like, I don't know, I want something over here. I want something over here. I want something over there.
And also, like, offenses are starting to do and you're seeing this now, specifically just because you mentioned the Bengals, like with a guy like Jamar Chase, you have the ability to put him in a spot to where Sauce Gardner is neutralized, right? Like you can put Keenan Allen elsewhere to where you could put Keenan Allen in the slot, line him up in there and try some shit out there to where you're getting him on a linebacker, which is what you see the Bengals do a lot of, or in the backfield, which is what you see with Jamar Chase. So copycat league, maybe they do something like that. I'm merely saying that this is a coin flip and the Jets are at home, which
I get it.
They have a better defense. That's all that's the only reason I'm putting them on.
Yeah.
This.
Plus that would also require, Brandon Staley to game plan.
I can't wait for him to see that crack rock Brandon Staley out there on 4th downs and shit.
So say they lose this game Monday night, they're 3-5, right? If they lose. Is this it?
They're not firing him. No.
Do you guys
will write him out for the rest of the year?
Who's the owner of the Chargers?
The city of Los Angeles. I have no idea.
I don't know the answer to that, but I know the answer to the Raiders. I know like the teams that typically fire the coaches
Crazy.
know-
The one, the owners.
You know the owner.
I hear what you're saying because it's goes back to Irsay firing.
I don't know that. Yeah,
mid-season.
coaches that get fired in the middle of the season, you know who the owner is. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and 3 and 5 isn't like it's not fireable.
He'll be
either.
gone at the end of the season, I think, for sure.
You think so? Yeah, I think they have to miss the playoffs.
If they make
I think
the
3 and
playoffs
5
lose
right
in
now in
round
the
one, I
AFC
think
is
he's gone.
tough.
Yeah.
3 and
Yeah,
5
I
in the
think he's
AFC right now that's a steep hill to climb.
Fair point.
I think the juice would be on the side of he's getting fired.
Well, he wasn't the first one out.
Rickety
So-
cricket.
He wasn't. Josh McDaniel probably had some really good plus potential there
Dude.
too, and it was sitting right there for everybody.
Brandon Staley can as the beard grows, he looks more and more like Rickety Cricket every day, and it's fucking hilarious. It's
Hips and
it's
nips,
beautiful.
hips and nips around heat.
Did you guys hear there's like an alleged story about how Josh McDaniels got fired?
Oh, that's
It's
from
fake.
PFT.
It's
from
fake,
PFT.
yeah, but it's great. I
It's
really
so
wanted it
good.
to be true.
It's a really funny story. If
Go
it
ahead
was
and tell
true,
it. No,
it's
yeah.
legendary.
Go ahead and tell it. It's fucking,
So he
hilarious.
comes in dressed as Mark Davis for Halloween. Dressed
After
as
getting
the owner,
blasted by the
after
Lions.
getting shellacked by the Lions.
Big Halloween guy.
Takes him out to PF Chang's for lunch. Says, "Hey, let's go grab some lunch." He tells Josh McDaniels after they finish lunch to open up a fortune cookie. And what is it? It said like
You're fired.
hot
You're
shot,
fired,
you're
hot
fired.
shot.
You're fired, hot shot. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, apparently the other part of it too is like Mark Davis is very known for like his favorite meal is PF Chang's.
Yeah, what are you gonna have for dinner?
So
I
he
don't know.
sent
PF
him
Chang's.
lunch as like
As PF
to
Chang's.
complete the costume.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
but
Hilarious.
So funny.
hilarious.
was
If
real,
it is, I just wish it was. Hope it is, because that would just make it hilarious. So.
yeah, that's one of those stories where you're like, I want it to be real.
Please,
so
God,
bad.
be true.
All right, boys.
Uh,
Anything else? We got anything else to discuss this evening? Texas Rangers have been beating some serious ass in the World Series.
Yeah, there.
They're up 1-0, bottom 8.
Oh, tight game
Ooh.
today. Tight game.
That means that they are 4 outs away from winning the World Series.
Wow.
Might have to go turn that.
Does
on.
that say something that like the
I didn't
little?
know that.
Yeah, I don't
didn't
give a
even know.
fuck. Like,
I'm not saying I don't give a fuck. I didn't
don't.
even know.
I am saying that I don't give a like. I'm not just like I'm not trying to shit on my boys up above me on the screen right now. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just like I think that says something about me more so than anybody else. Maybe America, as I am America, but I am America, and so
Guy
can
gets
you.
one mustache.
You know, I am American, so can you. Okay, and I don't know. I don't. I'd be curious to see what the viewership is on this World Series.
Lowest viewed World
Yeah.
Series in 14 years.
Holy
I mean,
shit!
a lot of that just has to do with market. Like
Who
know.
was
Yeah.
the 14 years though? Who was the 14 years ago? Who was
shit. I
that?
knew you were going to ask me that question.
Then you
Hold
would have
on.
been prepared if you knew. Okay.
Marlins, someone I don't know.
Was that 2009?
What? Oh, I was just taking a random.
I was right, you
stab
said
at-
14 years, so 2009 was that?
I don't know. I don't like.
Phillies?
I don't like.
It
Red
would've
Sox?
been- No, Philly. It would have been Philly.
Red Sox.
It really bums me out when people are like, "You remember 10 years ago, 24 or like 2020,
2013?
I'm like,
Oh,
no, that
God.
actually bums me out so hard.
2009.
was it, Todd?
Who was good in 2009?
Red Sox were really good.
Yeah, but that's
2000
too big of a market. Like that's
It was
going to have high
actually it was
viewership.
2010. It was 2010. Excuse me. It's the Giants and the Rangers. So same team. One of the same teams.
So
Interesting.
it was the Rangers who?
And
Giants.
The Giants.
Rangers.
San
That's
Francisco.
surprising.
That is surprising.
That was
I also
Buster
think
Posey's
that's like
MVP.
pre-stream though.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
So
is-
when they do viewership,
Thanks a lot,
now,
Netflix.
if you look at you can't look at share because share is so different now than what it used to be because
Right.
they still share off of watching it on live TV and not off of a streaming service.
Yeah, I
So,
remember watching that
share
series
over
2
the
weeks
last-
after
Yeah,
from
so
Blockbuster.
Yeah, the share 4 years, like 5 years ago, went way down. But in terms of overall viewership, this is the lowest one since 2010.
Wow.
So 13 years.
Wow.
Wow.
The sad part, nice. Oh, sorry, Todd.
No, and I was going to say, if this one ends in 4-1, that one also ended in a 4-1 series. The Giants won.
I just always contend with baseball. I don't. When I was in high school and had my summers off, like, yeah, I was dialed in on baseball. Now I just like Wednesday after work, I'm not watching baseball.
Yeah. But
when it's summer and you got nothing else to do, like I'm working 3 hours a day at Papa John's, like, yeah, dude, let's watch some baseball. Yeah. They're playing. They're playing in Anaheim. I'm jacked up because
late game, baby. Let's
late
go.
game, baby.
All right. Well, we got a couple lone wolves this week. Todd's by himself with the Titans. Let's see. We've got
the Packers.
Aaron by himself with the Chargers. Todd is also by himself with the Packers. Corey is by himself with the Seahawks. And I believe that is it. So there's going to be some movement in the standings this week. We'll see how the rest of this week shakes up. Chat, appreciate everybody coming as usual. Josh, Pops, British, Rob.
Everybody coming.
Clippers are up 17 on the Lakers still in the first quarter.
Suns just blew a 20-point lead yesterday. That doesn't mean shit to me.
I can't wait. Yeah,
we'll
dial into a little basketball here in a little bit.
Yeah, we got just savor the football, boys. We'll get to basketball.
Savor the football.
Yeah, we are officially at the midpoint of the season. Officially at the midpoint because we're like 8.5 weeks in.
Playoffs.
So halfway point.
Nope.
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. All right, well, everybody, thanks for coming out tonight. That's a podcast. You can catch it tomorrow. We'll have it up usually before noon on Spotify, Apple Music. If you need to go check it out or want to listen to it again. But until next time, I am Bobby. This is Rally Tal Sports. Corey, Todd, Aaron. Catch you next week. Peace.
R.I.P. Matt Perry.
Yes.